Just wait till you're ready. Okay.
All right, good evening, board members, student board members. Welcome to our more regularly scheduled board meeting. It is May 14th. Members of the audience, if you're not we're off site, so we wanted to accommodate more people. If you're not aware of where the restrooms are, you go out this door to the left, and there will be some people to help you get to the restrooms. For our board members, just a friendly reminder, the microphone situation is a little different than normally at your dais. They are hot mics the entire evening. They're not pressed to talk. So just keep that in mind as you're having conversations. They should be working just fine. And I think other than that, I believe, Brian, are we ready to go with our technology? Got everything up and running? I'm going to hand it off to our board president. President Markov, take it away.
All right, we'll open meeting at 6:25, May 14th. We'll do start with the roll call. I'm sorry. Here, read out a closed session item. On May 14th, 2026, the board in closed session by unanimous vote took action to reject claim 2526-05 as recommended by the district's third-party property and liability administrator.
Point of order.
You want to do the pledge of allegiance?
Please.
Oh, you know what? I so apologize. I was looking at the wrong list. Okay. Sorry, that's okay. We'll start and call the order. We're gonna do roll call. We're gonna see who is present. Is Trustee Martin available?
Yes.
Present. Trustee Morocco.
Here.
Trustee Alvarado.
Present.
Trustee Vargas.
Present.
And Trustee Markov is present. We're going to stand for the stand for pledge of allegiance.
May I ask that you have vote for student board reps lead us in the pledge?
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have we acknowledge the Payam Kawisham, the people of the West, as the traditional land caretakers of the land on which Vista Unified School District was built and its surrounding traditional cultural landscapes. Today, the Payam Kawisham are known as the Senyo and are made up of 7 bands: Goya, Hala, Hama, Pachenga, Rincon, San Luis Rey, and Saboba. We, Vista Unified School District, are mindful of the indigenous peoples in this place, and we pay our respects to the Senyo, past, present, and future. We are grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of this community in the Senyo territory and to honor their history, culture, and perseverance of spirit. Okay, now report of actions taken in closed session. We read our on May 14th, 2026, the board in closed session by unanimous vote took action to reject claim 2526-05 as recommended by the district's third-party property and liability administrator. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second. Okay, motion by Trustee Alvarado, second by Trustee Vargas. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. We will move on to item 5A, with which we have some public comments. We're going to limit, we have about 12 speakers today for item 5A, and I'd like to ask you to limit your talk to us to 2 minutes and be mindful of other people needing to speak. So please don't, if you can cut it short, that would be great. All right. Okay, we're going to start with Chris Helmstreet.
Good evening. My name is Chris Helmstreet. I'm a father of two, was a kindergartner at Vista Center. My wife Tina was here last month to share our deep appreciation for Ms. Jasmine Baker and her incredible work at the school. After hearing about Ms. Baker's non-reelection, I'm here to share my thoughts. During the last meeting, my wife's comments detailed the profound impact Ms. Baker's had on our child development. So, as you review this decision, I respectfully ask, how is feedback from parents considered? And how often do you see parents take the time to praise their kids' future at school? I am hopeful that the support you see here today from Ms. Baker will encourage you to work with the leadership at Casita Center to right this problem. Ms. Baker is a dedicated and effective educator who has earned the full trust of her students and their families. I want my son to have the same wonderful experience at Casita Center and hopefully with Ms. Baker as his teacher. As a fellow educator for Carlsbad Unified School District, we could have easily had our daughter attend the school right. But we chose to keep her at Casita Center due to our love for the school and district. Let's work together to keep our best educators where they belong with our children. It's pretty fun.
Thank you. This will be Lisa Vladimir, followed by Juliana. Apologize, I can't read the last one writing here.
Andrew Gonzalez, Galvez, Juliana Galvez.
That'll be nice. All right, thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Doyle and board members. I'm here because my 5-year-old son went from dreading school to absolutely loving it. And that doesn't happen by accident. My son Grayson is naturally very shy and pretty closed off. He spent 2 years in preschool and then he attended TK at Vista. While he adapted over time, school was never something he genuinely enjoyed. Before this year, he really never talked about what he did during the day or showed much interest in school at all. This year, we have seen a complete shift. Now he comes home excited to show us his work. He points out sight words when we're driving, talks about what's happening in his classroom, and genuinely takes pride in what he's learning each and every day. The growth and change I've seen in my son this past year has filled my heart beyond anything I could experience. Ms. Baker is truly an exceptional teacher. That level of connection and enthusiasm comes from a teacher who has built an environment where children feel emotionally safe, deeply regarded, and motivated to learn. She has a very special gift that does not come often. Ms. Baker was clearly born to do this, and her natural ability to connect with children only enhances the already amazing community at Casita. I do want to mention that Grayson is our youngest. He's our 4th child to walk the halls of Casita, and he will be our last. I'm not here for any personal gain. I'm here because what Ms. Baker does is working and it matters. I respectfully ask that you please reconsider this decision. Teachers like Ms. Baker leave a lasting impact on children and their families. I truly hope Casita does not lose someone so special. Thank you all for your time and all of the hard work that you put in for our schools and our kids.
Juliana Galvez, followed by Jasmine Baker.
Hola, buenas tardes. Les doy gracias por la oportunidad de poder venir y presentarnos y exponer el caso de la profesora Baker de Casita.
Good evening. I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come and state my case in support of Ms. Baker from Casita.
Personalmente soy representante del comité de ILA y asimismo soy una de las pocos padres que miércoles y jueves nos presentamos en Casita para ayudar a preparar material para los maestros durante la semana.
I'm also an ELAC rep, and I'm one of the few parents that shows up every Wednesday and Thursday to the room to prepare materials for our teachers.
La razón por la que estoy aquí frente a ustedes, primeramente es para recordarles que ustedes tienen que garantizar que el proceso de aprendizaje, de enseñanza y aprendizaje se lleve a cabalidad.
So first of all, I'm here to remind you that it is your job to ensure that the learning environment is happening in every classroom.
Espero y no sonar como que les estoy faltando el respeto, pero la razón es porque tenemos una maestra como la profesora Miss Baker, que es excelente. Para mí es una de las mejores maestras que yo he conocido en Casita en 5 años que llevo allí.
So I hope I'm not insulting you by saying this, but I am here to talk about Miss Baker, and she is one of the best I've seen in the 5 years I've been at Casita.
Y quiero dejar claro que no tengo mi hija con Miss Baker, tengo un sobrino que va con ella, pero que a raíz de cómo ella ha trabajado con los niños, cómo uno ve que se desenvuelven, cómo los padres le aprecian y le quieren, es que me tomo la oportunidad para venir y alzar mi voz y decirles que no es justo que dejen ir a una persona que se preocupa por el proceso que actualmente les dije o que inicialmente les dije que es el proceso de enseñanza y aprendizaje.
And to be clear, I don't have my daughter that has Miss Baker. Actually, my nephew is with Miss Baker, and I see how she talks to the students, and I see how it sets her apart and how I appreciate her. And I just don't think it's fair to let her go, especially when we talked about the learning environment.
Espero y la oportunidad que nos están dando de poder hablar a favor de ella no sea solamente como una manera de ustedes permitirle al público hablar, sino que de verdad tomen cartas en el asunto y miren las razones por qué, porque hasta ahorita yo por lo menos principalmente me estoy preguntando ¿por qué le están dejando ir? ¿Cuáles son las razones? Gracias.
So I just want this opportunity for you guys to let us speak in favor of Miss Baker, but not just let us speak, but really listen to us and take into consideration on why you let her go. And honestly, I asked myself, why did you let her go? So thank you for your time.
Jasmine Baker, followed by Aaron Lutz.
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Baker, and I'm currently teaching kindergarten at Vista Center. Unfortunately, I was recently informed that I've been non-reelected. I came here today to share my story because I believe the truth is important. I am respectfully asking the board to review the formal complaint I submitted regarding concerns involving 2 individuals at this site as part of a full and fair understanding of the circumstances surrounding my situation. I have proudly served this district for 6 years. I attended school in Vista with 2 children also attended Bonne Vista and Leadership Academy. I worked my way up in this district from volunteer to student advocate, instructional aide, substitute teacher, and finally classroom teacher. As a teacher, I built my classroom on a strong foundation of love, structure, and connection. I have letters of recommendation and positive experiences from every single site I've worked. My non-reelection does not reflect my work ethic or my ability as an educator, but rather the leadership and circumstances at this site. I can confidently say that this would not have happened to me at another school. This decision was made by a site principal who never formally observed my classroom or has had one single conversation with me regarding my teaching, my students, my families, or my professional growth. I know what strong leadership and excellent teaching looks like because I have had the privilege of learning from exceptional educators and administrators. I deserve a quality mentor. Instead, I experienced favoritism, gossip, bullying, unprofessional behavior that does not reflect this unified values. As a teacher, our responsibility is to serve students and families with humility, care, patience, and integrity. Teaching should never be about intimidation, power, or pride. I am here today not only to advocate for myself, but also for teachers who have had similar experiences and feel they cannot speak up for themselves, for educators in the past who brought forward these same concerns and saw no action, and for future teachers who deserve support, respect, and encouragement in this profession. I pray that the board has discernment and is able to bring light to the truth of what has happened here and bring justice where it is needed. Thank you so much.
Aaron Lutz, followed by Sam Slater.
Hi, thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to the board this evening. My name is Erin. My son Neil is in Miss Baker's kindergarten class at Vista Center. And I'm really deeply confused as to why Miss Baker was laid off of her job, and I believe that it was the wrong decision. I'd like to take my time to tell you about how great Miss Baker is and how I think that this is a huge loss for Casita Center and for the Vista School District. She's an incredible educator and very skilled at what she does. I almost don't even know where to start because there's so many wonderful things to tell you. But I'll start here. Imagine my relief when I get to tell my friends and family that Leo's kindergarten teacher was the real life Miss Honey from Matilda. If you wanted the personification of embodiment of what you think a kindergarten teacher can or should be, you'd look no further than to Miss Baker. And I say this as someone who has direct observation of Miss Baker with her classroom, as I volunteered many times throughout the year. And, you know, my son needed extra support this year, and this was new to us as a family. And Ms. Baker has had multiple meetings with the school counselor and us to craft a plan to meet my son's needs. She's showed deep patience and empathy in meeting us where we were at, holding space for the fear and uncertainty when all you want is for your kid to be okay. She's utilized her skills to set and knowledge as an educator to provide the tools for my son and implementing so that he can succeed in school, which he has. She's proactively messaged me because she had noticed a change in the behavior of my son, and she wanted to make sure that he was okay. Her message alerted us that he had some medical issues that needed more attention, and we were able to bring this information to his medical team so that we could implement a plan. I also want to tell you that this year has been one of the most stressful years of my life personally due to my husband and I being laid off of our jobs, trying to start 2 small businesses that have not been successful yet. And I have several medical issues. As you can imagine, this is very stressful. I mention this because the only thing that I have not been worried about this entire year was sending my son to school because his teacher was Miss Baker. It was the one thing in my life that I felt reassured that Miss Baker was in charge of the classroom. I'll end with a quote from my son Leo. I love Miss Baker. She is the best.
Sam Slater, followed by Athena Bellio.
Hi, I'm here also to talk about Miss Baker. Although I honestly have no idea why I'm here. I have no idea why I need to stand in front of a panel and advocate for somebody who's so clearly capable, who leads with so much love and compassion and generosity with kids. That's very specific examples. My son, his transition from TK to kindergarten was stressful for him. I had heard it would be stressful, but it hit him in a way that was unexpected. He and Miss Baker came with these sets of tools which made this transition incredibly smooth. You could see day by day, week by week, following the move into a huge school in Casita from tiny little TK. His growth and development, blossoming and flowering, she was brimming with ideas of how to make this thing smooth for him. It just feels like a terribly wasted opportunity. Like I run really big teams of people trying to do really complicated things. And when you have somebody who is so adept and skillful as Miss Baker, you make sure they thrive and give them what they need. Because when they thrive, everybody thrives, including the kids. That's it. I'll leave it at that. It feels like there's been an egregious mistake.
Tina Delia, followed by Amber Kessler.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of Ms. Baker, my experience with her. I wasn't actually planning on speaking today. I just wanted to come and support. You'll notice there's quite a few of us in yellow in the back here in supporting Ms. Baker. So just a bit about my story and my experience. My son Archer is currently a student in Ms. Baker's class. I'm a Vista resident, born and raised, and was fortunate enough to go through the Vista Unified School District for my education as well. So we were thrilled when Archer was old enough to enroll. And we were also thrilled when he was able to enroll in CETA. We started the school year and I experienced the pre-kinder jitters that I think every single parent does. Archer's birthday is August 28th. And I think everyone here knows that that's right at that cutoff. And he is, I'm not 100% certain, but I believe he's the youngest kindergartner at CETA right now. So it was daunting, terrifying, sending him off with kids, his friends now, some of them 10, 11 months, 10 and 11 months older than he was, and expecting him to keep up. But then we met Ms. Baker. We received her jitter glitter on the first day, and Archer thankfully shared that with us. And my husband and I shared a sigh of relief. He looked, it's funny, Aaron had mentioned this as well, but he looked, he said, did we just get Miss Honey? And it's 100% true. We have our real life Miss Honey from Matilda. Every week since the start, he's exceeded expectations that we didn't realize that we had for kindergarten. And it's thanks to Miss Baker and the environment that she's cultivated for this classroom. He comes home excited every single day to tell us about what he learned. We keep monthly projects and papers that he didn't finish or that he just wanted to keep in our kitchen for him to peruse, and he will willingly and happily finish all of his homework. Not that it's actual work for him at this point. He's so incredibly proud of what he's done. And I know it's because of Ms. Baker's gentle and solid presence in his life. I have zero regret starting him when we did, because we would not have experienced the kind of love and support that every kindergartner should experience with a person like Jasmine Baker. The world needs more teachers like her, and Vista needs to keep teachers like her. We are so incredibly thankful to have gotten the chance to get our start, and I respectfully ask for you to reconsider your decision so that more children like my son, my youngest son, Wade, can also experience that positive and affirming time as they get started in their education. Thank you very much.
Amber Kessler, followed by Diane Hook.
Hello, good evening. I'm here tonight also as a parent of a kindergartner in Miss Baker's class at Casita. And I just wanted to share our experience this year. I truly believe the district's making a huge mistake by not renewing her contract. I think when word got around, we're all in disbelief and shock. We all wonder why, and this has to be a mistake because I can't come up with one negative thing to say about Miss Baker, and I think all the families in our class feel the same way. So this was Miss Baker's first year teaching at Casita, and despite being handled an especially difficult class, she was in a very challenging situation. She showed up every single day with patience, kindness, professionalism, and a genuine smile on her face. Many people would have struggled under those circumstances, but Ms. Baker handled it with grace and heart, and I saw this multiple occasions every time I volunteered in class. As a parent, I witnessed how deeply she cared for each child in her classroom. She made each student feel special, loved, capable, and smart. My child learned to read this year because of Ms. Baker's patience and encouragement, something I was not even able to accomplish. She took the time to teach, support, and believe in her students individually. She's also an excellent communicator with parents and always made us feel included, informed, and heard. She quickly won the hearts of not only the children, but also the families and parents. What stands out the most is she brought joy and warmth into a classroom every single day. That kind of teacher cannot be taught. It comes from who she is as a person. In the words of my 5-year-old daughter, she says, "I love Miss Baker because she always takes care of me. She teaches me how to sound out words. She hugs me back when I hug her. She helps our whole classroom and is always nice to us and the parent volunteers." To hear my child describe their teacher with that much love and safety says everything. Teachers like Ms. Baker are exactly the kind of educators schools should fight to keep. Thank you.
Diane? I apologize, I'm getting a cold. Volkey, all right.
W.
Oh, that's a W. Oh, thank you. Volkey, please come on up. And this will be followed by Joe Food. Sure.
I'm Diane Wolke. I'm a retired advanced practice nurse and public health nurse, and I have a deeply vested interest in the students of Vista, having taken care of their mothers during pregnancy and having delivered many of your students in development. I'm also a board member for the national nonprofit Safe Healthy Playing Fields. I want to talk to you today about what we're doing in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Unified School District is transitioning away from synthetic turf. They have heard this. Sacramento Unified is now also looking at a similar policy. Synthetic turf contains myriad toxic chemicals that kids are rolling in every day.
Yes.
It also releases enormous amounts of microplastics. The chemicals themselves alone can create numerous non-communicable diseases. And when partnered with microplastics, which are in all of our bodies, every bodily organ, every bodily fluid, they also can cause cancers. Each synthetic turf field loses 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of microplastic blades, which you're going to see. One is from your soccer flex that I collected a couple of years ago, and 600 pounds of microplastics from the backing every year. The industry is rolling out 1,100 acres of plastic turf in California alone each year. Microplastics are both created by and contribute to climate change and impede sequestration of greenhouse gases in the ocean. And the chemical leaching from the plastics not only cause harm to humans, but also to the environment. Every year, more than 9,000 student athletes are treated for heat-related illnesses. Children are not small adults. They are readily impacted to heat illness due to heat production, body surface area, blood circulation, sweat production, inability or less likely to self-regulate fluid replenishment. Overheating of their little bodies increases respiratory rates, inhalation. It also causes increased dermal absorption of the toxic chemicals that are both on the surface as well as leaching from these plastic fields. These chemicals cause hormone disruption and neurotoxicity to their developing brains, and adolescents also have developmental windows, are not immune, and in fact have been exposed longer than younger children.
Diane, we're gonna have to move on. We have
Is that
just
what
a
you
2
did?
minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you'd like to send us
I sent you
comments, yes,
information. I
calls
hope
and
you
read
have
it.
the opportunity to read it. Don't hesitate to reach out,
Great, thank you.
certainly.
Joe Hood, followed by Matthew Bearson.
I'm Joe Hood, a member of the school district's staff committee for the past 4 years. Thanks to Dr. Loescher for his superb leadership and for sharing the specs for the plastic fields for this new school. Thanks to Diane for outstanding report on plastic playing fields and sharing it with you. Please read and discuss it carefully. And then act immediately to protect Vista's children and safety. Synthetic turf has been shown to harm children's health. Plastics are in everybody's body. One set of autopsies found a credit card's worth of plastic in every brain in the autopsy. How does it feel to have plastic in your brain? You do. Mental health is negatively impacted. Injuries are more common and more severe. Plastic exaggerates climate heating plastic is non-recyclable, harms biodiversity. The California Coastal Commission says we can't have plastic fields near the coast. Maintenance and upkeep is unexpectedly expensive. Please think carefully about district lands. Fully functional places have massive biodiversity. They have higher and higher canopies with perennial polycultures and near total vegetation cover. Model what matters. Wealth does not come from buying and selling things. It comes from the natural functioning of Earth's systems. Lead by modeling and teaching joy and the harmony that exists among all life. Show students that you understand. Lead by example. Cancel the plastic field immediately. Insist upon natural grass and no more plastic fields in Vista schools.
Matthew Gerson, followed by Joseph Vitsuli.
My daughter's 4 years old. She's eligible for TK. I was so excited to get that monthly preschool check off the books until I toured my daughter's future TK to classroom. A big rack of iPads, decorated. Little Aiden had his own, little Ava's had a pink sticker. Miles, well, his iPad had seen better days. I asked how often they're used. 3 times a week, twice for instruction, 1 for passive play. I asked, do we have to use them in TK? Don't worry, Dad, we'll show you. So the very nice teacher opens the app. It's a counting exercise. Use my index finger. Count to 1. I get it right. It flashes. I get a good feeling. I can move on. Count to 2. Another flash. I get a good feeling. I can't wait to come back. Teacher closes the app, re-racks the iPad, and assures me that all the kids love it. Well, of course. Who doesn't love quick dopamine hits? With apps like the one my 4-year-old will be exposed to, she'll get that feedback immediately with flashes and bright, colorful dancing characters that prod her to play more. We know this is not healthy. This dopamine loop exacerbates dysregulation, shortens attention spans, and increases behavioral issues in our classrooms and at home. And EdTech taps into this via gamification and persuasive design, ultimately hooking our children, and as Google put it in a recent lawsuit, create a pipeline of future users. Why does a 4-year-old need an iPad to learn in the classroom? Public school enrollment is going down. The impact is laid off teachers and aides. Less adults in our hallways to provide hands-on learning and who truly care about the outcomes of our kids. All while the use of expensive EdTech, subscriptions, and algorithms go up. I talked with many Vista parents. We're questioning whether VUSD is the best option to educate our kids due to an over-reliance on unproven, untested apps, excessive screen time, and the lack of control over internet-connected devices. I am the son, grandson, great-grandson, and husband of public school teachers and administrators. I never thought I'd be in this boat. We can do something about it, though. Los Angeles Unified recently passed the Using Technology with Intention resolution, eliminating use of digital devices in TK through 1st grade, prohibiting student-led use of YouTube and video streaming platforms, and it provides a maximum daily and weekly screen time limit by grade level. In Vista, we need to think. We need real discussions and real decisions about screen time, EdTech, and AI within our school walls. Our children cannot be lab rats for tech companies. Thank you.
Joseph Vitsuli.
Thank you, board members. I come here with you as a colleague of Jasmine Baker. She's been with our team this year and has done nothing but add to the team. I really want to say that she's offered great creative ideas, an outstanding pedagogy. I've learned things from her creative ways. And as a colleague, a 5-year kindergarten teacher at Vista, 18 years in the district, I really see that she knows how to make her students excited about learning, more so learning about our IB standards, which is not an easy task, I will say for myself. And just more so that she has created in this short time, 1st year at Casita, kind, caring communicators, kids excited about their learning, and more so those principled, caring thinkers that Casita is all about. So I really think that Ms. Baker is an outstanding teacher. I want to give her all credit, and please tell the board members that to maybe reconsider that she is a great part of my team, and I'm saddened to lose her as part of my team. Thank you, board members.
Okay, we're gonna move on to 6A, State Migrant Education Speech and Debate Award Recognition. I'll hand this over to Dr. Dwyer.
Thank you, President Markov. So this is the season, as we all know, where we recognize the amazing accomplishments of our students in all of our grade levels, elementary, middle, and high school. And each of those schools have really important events where we can lift them up and celebrate them. We have a unique partnership with the San Diego County Office of Education. And so we felt it appropriate to do a recognition for these two amazing students because it's not normally recognized in our school district. It's recognized at the county and the state level. And I'd like to recognize the representative from the senior director from the County Office of Education, the Migrant Education Division, Elisa Ayala, and the work that she has done. And I'd like Elisa to come up in a moment. If you can come up right now, Elisa, and then we'll talk it through. But before Elisa starts, we have had a very meaningful, productive relationship with the San Diego County Office of Education, supporting all of our students across our district in the migrant education program. And as a result of that, they work hand in hand with us to promote student achievement, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. And today we're going to recognize Kevin and Fernanda for an amazing accomplishment, not just in the classroom as studious individuals, but also outside the classroom at a state level. So if you could, Elisa, kind of walk everyone through this amazing accomplishment, and then in a moment we'll come up and recognize these two amazing students.
Yes, good evening, board members, Dr. Doyle. It's my pleasure to be here with you. I also see some former Rancho Buena Vista High School colleagues where I started my career in Vista Unified. It's my pleasure to share with you just a few words about the migrant education program and speech and debate. Migrant education is a federally funded Title I Part C program that serves the children of agriculture, farm, dairy, lumber workers in our state. We have about 70,000 of those children in California. And we have here in Vista, nearly 500 children in our district here. So
one of the largest in the county, by the way, right?
correct. Yes, that's right. And so we serve them out of our San Diego County Office of Education program and staff. We're proud to partner with you and serve your USD children, who we also consider ours. One of the most amazing programs that we're able to offer in California is our speech and debate program. This program is unique because it allows an opportunity for students, grades 6 or 12, who might typically not feel that they have a voice, might feel that their voice isn't heard, and it provides them with the tools to craft arguments, do research, back up their claims, and find their voice, their poise. And they do that in a safe space where they're competing against like peers who've experienced many of the same things as they have. They start off with our coach, who we will recognize in a moment as well.
I would like to recognize him.
Okay.
In a moment.
Yes. And they start off with our coaches learning, and they go through a months-long process of developing speeches. But not only do they do prepared speech, they also have to get ready to do extemporaneous speech, where they get a topic and they have 10 minutes, topic they've never seen before, to put something together and then stand up and give a 2 to 4 minute speech. We start them at the regional level. We have a local tournament with students from Fallbrook and Vista and Oceanside. Those winners then proceed on to a state tournament with hundreds of migrant students from the different 20 regions we have in the state. And Vista Unified has time and again, year after year, produced winning champion migrant students coming in first, second, and third place in the state. And so tonight we're here to introduce to you two of the students who are here at Vista Unified, and we're so proud. We couldn't be more just filled with joy and pride to have them be top winners in the state.
Yes. So thank you for letting me introduce Sergio. So I had the pleasure of meeting Sergio many times in this classroom, an amazing educator at Alternative High School. He just does amazing work at Alta Vista. But in addition to that, he puts himself out and commits to supporting our students in the migrant education program. This is in addition to his normal teaching duties. And Sergio is not only a fantastic educator, but he's committed to our community. So Sergio, I felt it appropriate for you actually to introduce these amazing winners so the entire room can recognize the great work they've done. So if you could approach the podium, tell them just a little bit about them.
Thank you. What an honor. And this is the heat that my students feel when they have to do an extemporaneous speech. It's easy to coach. It's another thing having to do it yourself. It's been an honor coaching these students. I've been doing it since 2019, and I got to tell you, it's one of the few things in life that brings me a lot of joy, besides my wife and mountain biking.
There you go.
I want to honor these students because they do so much. They're both excellent students in Mission Vista High School. They're full AP, IB. They're going to go on to do great things. Fernanda has worked with the San Diego County UN Society, and Kevin has plans of becoming a neurosurgeon. So these kids are top notch. Real leaders in their schools, real leaders in the community. And I can't tell you how proud I am working with them. And I also want to recognize Elisa for all her work with the migrant education program and her support. I want to recognize our members, Yvonne, Ms. Yvonne, Mr. Luke, Ms. Blanca Munoz, and Ms. Alejandra as well for their constant support. And none of this would be possible without the migrant.
All right, let's have them both come forward. Kevin and Fernando, please come forward. Very well. So congratulations. So well done. We appreciate the great work you've done and you're representing that school. Bienvenidos a esta celebración del trabajo que han hecho. Congratulations to Michigan. Congratulations. I know that we have some board members that would like to make a statement about it. I was waiting for this. So I think maybe we'll start with Trustee Vargas, because I know you're really connected with our migrant education program.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations. It's an honor to, be here before you because I'm a former migrant student and with, public speaking, I was a kid that sat in the back of the classroom, didn't want to talk and, have the honor now of representing our community here in Vista. So on behalf of this board, congratulations. We are so proud of you. Continue on with your successes and always remember where you come from. This is one of the many successes that will come in life. And we want to celebrate all of them with you, but as always, you have an entire community behind you and reach out to the people that want to see you succeed.
Thank you, Trustee Vargas.
Yes, I want to echo what my colleague, Trustee Vargas said. I am not a migrant education student, but I am a daughter of Mexican immigrants, and my mom worked tirelessly in the field when she came, but I never got identified as a student. So I know what the challenges are for families who support this industry to feed us, and how hard it could be for families who have to, maybe go from place to place or go to different schools. So the fact that you overcame so many obstacles and then achieved so many great accomplishments, it shows that your perseverance and your dedication to your studies, but also to your family, you make them proud and you make us proud. You represent the best of all of us. Thank you.
Trustee Malaco, any thoughts before we move on?
You are role models. You are role models for your peers. You are role models for the students that come behind you. And you are a beacon to all of these other students of what can be accomplished. Coming from the backgrounds that you come from,
there's a lot of obstacles to overcome and you overcame them. So you set the example and other students will follow that and come forward. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what you're doing for our future students, and what you're doing for our community. And please come back to our community and share where you have gone, what has happened, and continue to be that shining light and that example and that future for our future generations. Thank you. We are so proud of you.
Thank you, trustee Morocco. You deserve it, trustee Marco.
I am just listening to your accomplishments up here. I am duly impressed. Like amazing, great job going to the state speech and debate. That's got to be tough because you got to think on your feet. And I'll tell you what, that's going to serve you well in life. So I'm very honored to have you guys standing up here with your awards. So congratulations. And
And I did save trustee Martin for last, because trustee Martin has been an amazing teacher in Vista Unified School District for more than 2 decades. And her area of expertise is civics and what we do with our community. So trustee Martin, I felt it appropriate for you to have the last word.
Perseverance and dedication. That's what you did. And you worked through the hardest obstacles in front of you. What an example you are to the other students. What an example you are of the greatness of Vista, the community of Vista, and to Vista Unified. I am so proud of you. And in my 20-something years of in my teaching career, I did get to work with some migrant students, and I know the challenges that you faced. And to be standing here with your awards, I'm so proud of you. And I think Vista Community and Vista Unified is right there with you. Very proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, trustee Martin. Really appreciate it. Again, congratulations on your achievements, and we look forward to you coming back to Vista so we can hire you. Want to do a picture? Would you like to walk around?
So you can put it on the website so we can recognize.
I want to put it on the website. So do you want to have them? We will all have to get up and walk around with you. Okay, let's get up and walk around. Stay right where you are.
While we're walking, I just want to recognize Fernanda for her first place win in 10th grade extemporaneous speech. Is an 11th grader for also first place in extemporaneous speech and also 3rd place in prepared. Extemporaneous speeches and they both have that. Let's come on in, Paul. Come on in. Yeah.
Right, correct. 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is what we got.
All right. I gotta make a long walk back. Oh, good. That was half a mile.
Proclamation to first.
Okay, he's ready.
all right, we're gonna move on to item 6B is the proclamation of classified school employees week 2026. Whereas classified professionals provide valuable services to the schools and students of the Vista Unified School District, and whereas classified professionals contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment, and whereas classified professionals serve a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of Vista Unified School District students, and whereas classified professionals employed by the Vista Unified School District strive for excellence in all areas relative to the educational community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Vista Unified School District hereby recognizes and wishes to honor the contributions of the classified professionals to quality education in the state of California and in the Vista Unified School District, and proclaims the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as Classified School Employees Week. Okay, and we'll move on to 6C. This is a Substitute Employee Appreciation Week 2026. You have it. Sit down. Sit down. You have that.
Whereas a strong, effective system of public schools, education for all children and youth is essential to our democracy, systems of government, and whereas much of this progress can be attributed to the dedicated employees entrusted with supporting the educational environment so our children can grow to the full potential. And whereas substitute employees play a vital role in maintaining continuity of instruction in a positive learning environment where the employee, when the employee is away, and where it is appropriate for the substitute employee be recognized for this dedication and commitment. Now, therefore, the Board of Trustees of Vista Unified School District do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th to the 8th, 2026 as Substitute Employee Appreciation Week. Thank you.
And we have 6 of you certified or certificated, excuse me, in Classified Substitute Employee Recognition 2026. Rachel.
It's a great pleasure that we honor our substitutes in both classified and certificated. We did not run the district without them. And every year we honor our permanent certificated and classified with what we call the Golden Apple Award a little earlier in the year. But we also want to make sure, and this is the time that we honor set, few 2 to 3 classified and certificated substitute employees. And so each site is offered a nomination, and we have 3 winners or 3 recognitions that we'd like to provide. And our first one, we'd like to start with classified. Since our classified week is next week, we'd like to start with Nancy Sweeney. That's you. I'm going to embarrass Nancy a little bit. She has to stand here while I read that. Thank you so much. Come on up here. And this classified substitute has been a valued member of our district since 2014. She has provided exceptional support to many sites, and Breeze Hill Elementary has been especially grateful for her dedication in helping cover staffing vacancies and vacation needs. Nancy consistently steps up to support both teachers and students with professionalism and care. She is dependable, flexible, and always brings a positive presence that makes a meaningful impact on students and staff alike. Congratulations to Nancy Sweeney, the USD's classified substitute.
You don't want to shake your hand.
Got it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our second substitute is a certificated substitute, Sophie Schneider.
We're missing Sophie.
Sophie has been an incredible help at Madison Middle School. She stepped into a challenging assignment last fall and quickly made a positive impact on both students and staff. She built strong relationships with students, established clear expectations, and created a structured, respectful, and supportive learning environment. She embraced the school culture and collaborated effectively with colleagues. Sophie's flexibility, professionalism, and positive attitude have made her a valuable member of the Madison school community, and she is greatly appreciated by both students and staff. Congratulations to Sophie Schneider, and we will go to the site and make sure she is.
All right.
We have one last one. We did get a lot of certificated nominations. And so we have Danielle.
There she is.
Danielle, but her certificate says expired pretty good. We would like to recognize Danny for her outstanding service and dedication. She has supported the impressive school community in both long-term and day-to-day substitute roles, consistently stepping in wherever needed. Danny served as a long-term extensive needs substitute teacher and did an exceptional job supporting both students and staff with patience, compassion, and professionalism. She is currently serving in a long-term TK assignment where she has established strong classroom routines, built meaningful relationships with students and families, and supported students in reaching their learning goals. Her flexibility, dedication, and genuine care making a lasting and positive impact on the entire impressive school community. Congratulations.
All right.
And you know,
Danny, come on up. Danny, come on up. Thank you so much. Oh, look here.
yeah. Be a very handsome young gentleman.
Look at that.
Okay, I think we're gonna move on to item 7A, but I understand that. Okay.
And it's really Right, thank you, trustee, President Lockout. So normally tonight, we would have one of our student board representatives give a report. And the report was planned to be from Major General Raymond Murray and Brian, for which we've known Brian for a long time. And I have to say, he has a very good excuse for not being here tonight. Brian has been working so hard as a student and as a community leader that he actually got a job. So he's literally employed tonight, and that is our goal. So when he called us and told us he couldn't give the report, I said, you know, that's a really good excuse. I think we'll accept it. So know that we care about the work that Brian has done. And we both wish him well, and we'll support him in every way we can. This evening normally is when we recognize all of our student board members. And we have two trustees that in particular are going to want to say something in a moment. But before they start, I just want to remind our trustees and our community that our student board members go through a very elaborate orientation process in order to actually fulfill their duty as a student board member. It's the highest civic duty. And I always remind them when they go through this process that they're actually the highest ranking students in the entire school district. And we have more than 18,000 students in our school district, so literally the highest ranking. So in addition to fulfilling their duties as board members, student board members, and giving us feedback about the processes we have in place and how we support learning, they are also amazing students at their schools. All of them doing quite well academically and engaging in civic activities like Brian. So tonight I'd like to hand it off to two of our trustees so they can officially recognize the great work of the two amazing student board members we have here tonight. Let's start with trustee Martin.
Sure.
You're gonna come around to the front. That's right. It should come off if you pull it. There you go.
Taylor, it is with great honor that I'm here to present Taylor, and I can't say your last name, Okay. With a certificate of appreciation and a small token from Vista Unified. So this, being a student board member is very challenging. Being a board member is really challenging, and they have full-time school, but they are here, they're engaged, they ask questions before, during, and after. They are exquisite in what they're doing. And so with great pleasure and with great sadness, we're saying goodbye to Taylor. She is going to be graduating. And so maybe you'll see her in a couple of years sitting up here.
My turn. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to recognize Adnan Amro as a fabulous student board trustee. Your insight and perspective this year has been so important for all of us to understand what you're going through and how you represent the students at RBV. We've had other school board trustees, but your insight this year and your willingness to engage in dialogue has really given us important information that is needed. So you take your education very seriously, and you also take the education of your peers at RBV and across the school district seriously. So on behalf of the Board of Education, I just want to thank you and wish you the best, because we're better for you because you represent, like I said earlier, the best of all of us. So congratulations. The Board of Trustees, we would like to officially commend our student board members for their commitment and leadership. Each student board member served as a representative for their school and all students in the USD. We are proud of each of you and grateful for your contributions. Oh, thank you.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break. And then also I'd like the students that are here for assignment, it's been an hour. There'll be someone in the back that can sign your paper, and thank you for being here. If you'd like to stay, please feel free. But we're gonna take a 5-minute break to kind of work on some tech issues here. Thank you.
Chris, do you want me to leave it on? All right. And President Markov, we are now live. You ready to start?
Action.
I'd like to invite the Vista Teachers Association to come up and give their report.
Vista Teachers Association.
Good evening. Good evening, Board of Education, student board members, Superintendent Dr. Doyle, and community members here in person and those watching in the live stream. Our VTA President, Carrie, is unable to be here tonight because she's presenting a WHO Award, which stands for We Honor Our Own, to Valerie Robinson. Valerie has served as VTA's Executive Board Secretary for more than 10 years. And tonight, VTA proudly honors Valerie's leadership and thanks her for her decade of service to our union and our members. My name is Kate Bowen, and I'm proud to serve as VTA's Vice President. Tonight, I have the honor of giving our report. I've been teaching visual art for 16 years, with the last 10 years at Vista. I'm also a proud parent to a 7th grader at Vista, and I'm also the PAC chair for the VTA, and I look forward to maintaining a positive working relationship with our elected trustees on the Board of Education. The month of May is the month of the educator, and we want to recognize the incredible work of educators across Vista. Every day, teachers and education support professionals show up for the students with dedication, passion, and resilience. We thank them for the countless ways they strengthen our schools and communities. We also want to acknowledge the collaborative work happening between VTA and the USD. Through tonight's LCAP, educators are being compensated for participating in the National Education Association Micro-Credential Program. Recognizing the time and commitment educators invest in professional development outside of contract hours. That partnership matters, and we appreciate the district's willingness to support educator growth. VTA is also looking ahead to the start of bargaining. We know the cost of benefits is increasing this October. We know that rising healthcare costs directly impact the educators who serve the district every day. VTA and VUSC engaged in meaningful conversations through the insurance committee, and bargaining is the next important step in continuing that work. We are hopeful this board will continue making decisions that create space for thoughtful solutions that protect educators from bearing the full weight of rising costs and make a meaningful difference for more than 1,200 Vista educators and their families. This morning, Good Morning America shared a report that our country is facing what many are calling a learning recession. ELA scores in 83% of districts across the country have decreased, and math scores have decreased in 17% of the nation's schools. That's compared to scores from 10 years ago. Yet here in Vista, our story is different. According to the California School Dashboard, the USD is among 17% of districts that show growth in language arts, and among 30% of districts that demonstrated growth in mathematics. That progress has not happened by accident. It happened because of the hard work of educators, educational support professionals, administrators, families, and this community. People working every day on the front lines to help students succeed. Our working conditions are our students' learning conditions. Every person in this room shares the responsibility of doing what is best for students, schools, and our community. Together, we have an opportunity to keep Vista moving forward to ensure it remains not only a great place to learn, but also a great place to teach, work, and learn. Thank you so much for your time.
Report from the California School Employees Association.
Good evening, board members, student board members, Dr. Doyle, cabinet, and the community, and a special shout out to my CSEA siblings. I want to start tonight's report recognizing our classified employees, and that's because next week we're celebrating Classified School Employees Week. This year's theme is Students Thrive for Classified Work. By classified, we mean the support staff, the non-teaching staff. The recognition highlights the important role classified employees play in creating safe, supportive, and effective learning environments for students, staff, and families. And I just want to highlight we're a very unique group, diverse group. Why? Because we are over 100 job classifications, very unique, very diverse. And many families might recognize the staff at schools, you know, the office staff, the support staff in classrooms, custodial staff, the food service workers at their school site. But I just want to remind the community about the other work that exists, starting with the people you see here tonight or saw tonight. For example, we have our IT technicians, you know, managing our technology to make sure that the public can see this meeting, you know, transmitting live, right? Earlier, we had an interpreter interpreting for a Spanish-speaking parent, giving her the opportunity to voice and speak directly to school board. And then we also have fiscal services. We never talk about that group. These are the individuals that make sure that each one of us get paid on a timely manner. So their work really impacts all of us across the district, including school board trustees, right? And then we have the administrative staff, whether they're at the district office supporting special education students. There's a lot of paperwork that happens to make sure our students receive the support that they need, but also to service the families. You know, we have the administrative staff at Child Nutrition Services. Again, the behind the scenes, the unsung heroes, right? And making sure that the food is being delivered, being ordered, that we have the product to make sure that our food service workers are able to prepare the food, the meals in our central kitchen to then be delivered at school sites. We have bilingual testers. These are the individuals that go and test our English learners and assess their progress, right? These are all very important individuals that we don't see. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to share when we talk about classified staff, we mean the support staff, the non-teaching staff, and we're just as important, right? As the teachers and administrators supporting our families at school sites. And so with that, the chapter will be celebrating our members next week on May 21st with an awesome dinner. And we're combining it with our monthly chapter meeting. So we hope to have a good amount of attendees because we give away lots of things. It's really fun, really exciting. So I'm really excited to share that we're celebrating us next week. I also want to recognize an individual specifically, our very own Robert Vincent. So if you don't know Robert is one of 2 district plumbers in the district. I always smile when I talk about him because I feel like everyone knows him because he says, and I make this joke, I recall with the board saying that he feels every time he walks into a school site, they pull the red carpet because yay, the plumber's here, right? But I want to recognize him because earlier this month, CSCA San Diego Field Office hosted their annual awards ceremony. And Robert was recognized as the Activist of the Year. And so I just want to give a shout out to Robert. Congrats, Robert. Right. And then I do now changing gears a little bit. Tonight, the board will be hopefully approving 4 MOUs that impacts classified employees. And I want to just distinguish that 3 of those 4 MOUs will focus on job families, updating changes to job descriptions. And I want to mention it, or I want to note it, because this has been a project that's gone on for over 2 years. You know, and I want to just recognize Trustee Vargas, because he made a comment or questioned probably like 2 months ago about what's keeping us from moving forward and getting these completed. So I want to give you, but also the whole board, an update on the progress that we've had collaborating with the district. So CSCA met with HR classified director to discuss timelines and provide a process, create a process rather, so that we don't encounter this situation again. So just a reminder, according to our personnel commission rules, these job descriptions need to be updated every 4 years. And that's not been happening, right? And so there's been a lot of legwork that needs to happen to get us to that point. So with that said, between CSEA and HR classified director, we created a timeline that would establish or create or show that between 2027 and 2031, we would be highlighting which are the job families that we're gonna update. Along with that, a 5-phase process was created. In that process, we make sure that individuals, or rather I should say, every classified employee within that job family will get the opportunity to give feedback on their job. Because that was something that didn't happen, and we heard our members voice that concern. Also included in that 5-phase process is members or classified employees being able to see their job description updated before it's put up to a vote. In other words, once they've given input, they want to know what did the district accept or not accept and why. And not only would it be just provided in a hard copy document per se, but doing it in a forum process, being able for members to show up and hear from the district why things weren't accepted, or just another round of feedback. So I want to just highlight this, how important this is. This is an example of members speaking up, the union speaking on their behalf, the district taking that feedback and putting into action that feedback. That's what it takes for classified employees to feel valued. And I think that's where we always want to strive for, is gaining that trust. And that trust comes from actions and showing us that we are being heard. Not only being heard, but giving us the opportunity to voice our concerns. So with that, I do want to say thank you for your curiosity, board, and wanting to know what this process is about, what does it look like, and the importance of it, because it is important for our job descriptions to be constantly updated to reflect the current jobs that we are doing. And lastly, student board members, congratulations on your upcoming high school graduation, and best of luck. You're going to be entering a wonderful stage of your life. Enjoy it, and I hope that this experience being on the student board will allow you to see just the opportunities in the future and give back to your community in some way. Not, however it may be, it's just giving your community a voice. So congratulations. Thank you.
Mr. Markoff, there will be no DLAC report tonight. There will be one at the next meeting.
Okay, item 9A, and I think we have some book cards here. Again, we have 17 book cards. I ask you to keep it to 2 minutes. And we'll begin with Matthew Levedon Gonzalez, followed by Kenneth Zwinga.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Doyle, hardworking staff. My name is Matthew Gonzalez. I'm the business representative for the San Diego Building and Construction Trades Council. We're an umbrella organization for over 22 construction craft units and over 35,000 hardworking, skilled and trained men and women throughout San Diego. I'm here to strongly urge you to pass this bond and to vote for it, because ultimately this is an opportunity for each of you to solidify your legacy in addressing the infrastructure issues in a lot of the schools within the school district. We have already multiple PLAs, project labor agreements with other school districts, and they work. Our school districts that we have these relationships with, we're able to turn over the projects on time, under budget, and safe. And ultimately, one of the key elements of these
is a local hire. So we hire individuals that live within the surrounding areas of these projects, which contribute to the individuals that are working on these projects be empowered, because cosmetically, they're changing the neighborhoods, but ultimately they're changing the neighborhoods for their own kids and the kids in their neighborhoods. So I thank you for your time, and you guys have a great opportunity. Thank you. Zulinga, followed by Barbara Garcia.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Zuniga. I'm a voter and resident in the city of Vista. Thank you for continuing to move forward on this bond measure. The continued progress is real leadership, and it shows that community that you're really invested. By placing this on the November ballot, you're giving Vista families the opportunity to invest in the schools their kids attend every single day. Investments in our schools is always needed, and it matters most when these funds are spent in the right way on labor unions, by workers who need quality jobs, especially in this economy when the job market isn't that great. So I strongly urge you to vote to put this on the ballot and let the voters decide on funding school repairs. I look forward to talking to my friends and family to make sure that they also vote for this measure and that it passes. So thank you for your commitment to Vista Unified students and educators, and please put this on the ballot. Thank you.
Aldo Garcia, followed by Chris Rainwaters.
Ready. Good evening, school board members, superintendent, everyone in this room. I know it's been a long day. Very beautiful, beginning situations. It was beautiful to see acknowledgement. So regardless, I'm here today yet again. I continue to show this Vista wants better and safer schools. So me as the community member and education and workforce advocate, I want to make sure that I show my support and finish this through and hopefully gets on the ballot in November through the democratic process of the community. Thank you again for Assistant Superintendent for responding to my email recently. It's really good to hear you guys engage with the community. And I've been really consistent with the communication and discussions. And it's great seeing you guys in action. There's a lot on your guys' plate, and I'm more familiar with the school board, so I do respect your spaces. And I hope you respect the community in deciding on this bond. And thank you, shout out to the teachers, the subs, the students on the board. It was a really great time seeing this today, and I hope that we move forward with this bond. Thank you.
Chris Rainwaters, followed by Stuart Reyes.
All right, since we're pressed for time, I'm just gonna say, howdy y'all. It's wonderful to see you all again. And as they say, third time's the charm. Again, my name is Chris Rainwaters. I'm a Vista Unified parent. My child attends Monte Vista Elementary, serve on their school site council. I was also once very active in the PTA before life does what it does. And I'm also a realtor here at Vista. So I come to this as a parent, a school volunteer, a community member, and someone who spends a lot of time thinking about what makes a place worth investing in. And to be honest, I don't want to keep coming into your meetings to ask for the same thing over and over. I would love to just trust that this moves forward and I can go peacefully back into my little corner in Vista and hyperfixate on real estate, YouTube, my kid, and whatever strange little project that my brain adopts next. But I'm here because this matters. A school bond is not just about buildings. It's about whether we are willing to take responsibility for the spaces our students and teachers walk into every day. As a Monte Vista parent, I understand there are fears and concerns, fear about what happens to certain schools, fear about whether every campus and neighborhood will be seen. And those concerns matter, but I don't believe the answer is to freeze. The answer is to stay engaged, ask good questions, demand transparency, and keep moving forward. Because doing nothing is also a decision, and our students don't get those years back. So tonight's vote is not the final word from the community. It's the decision about whether the community gets to have that word. So I'm asking you to trust Vista voters. Let the people who live here, work here, raise children here, and care about Vista's future decide. Please move this forward and let Vista voters do their job. Thank you.
Stuart Reyes, followed by Corey Schumacher.
Good morning, school board. My name is Stuart Reyes. This is my second time that I'm speaking because I believe in this matter that much. I'm not a resident of Vista and I don't have children in the district, but I do care about what happens when communities stop investing in young people. Strong schools help, creating stronger neighborhoods, safer communities, and better opportunity for everyone. The bond is about giving students the classrooms, school improvements, and support they need in a growing community. Tonight, you have the opportunity to let the people of Vista decide this issue in November. You all know that. Repeat that. I hope you vote to approve resolution 2625 tonight to place this bond on the November 3rd, 2026 ballot and give the community the chance to invest in its children's future. I thank you.
Joy Schumacher, followed by Gail Martin.
Thank you very much. Hello, board members. My name is Corey Schumacher. I am the policy director of IBW 569, representing over 3,800 union electricians and sound technicians from San Diego to Imperial County. I'm here tonight to urge you to vote yes to place the school facilities bond on the November 2026 ballot. Vista Unified's previous bond measure was subject to independent oversight with over 200 million projects reviewed and found to be spent appropriately. And importantly, it included a project labor agreement and local hire practices that support workforce standards, apprenticeships, and economic opportunity across the community. The proposed bond would continue to create high road career pathways through apprenticeships, opening doors for local residents, young people, and historically underserved communities to enter the skilled trades and to stay there. That's not just workforce development, that's economic mobility. Because of the board's leadership in implementing the PLA, benefits of the proposed bond will continue to stay here in Vista. That means that when local workers earn strong wages, they invest back in their communities, supporting small businesses, strengthening families, and growing our local economy from the ground up. For these reasons and more, IBEW 569 strongly urges you to vote yes and place this bond measure on the November 2026 ballot. Thank you very much.
Gail Martin, followed by Sarah Spinks.
Yes, good evening, board members. I'm speaking as I am concerned about the infrastructure needs of our facilities. Modern school facilities are critical because they directly improve academic outcomes, foster better class engagement, and make learning more effective. Educated kids with critical thinking and problem-solving skills have increased job opportunities, which drives innovation to address the complex challenges our community faces. We support this bond and appreciate your consideration for the board to take the next step. Now is the time to put the bond on the ballot. Thank you.
Sarah Spinks, followed by Carol Kim.
Hello, good evening, board. As an educator, parent, and graduate of Vista Unified School District, I want to thank the board for the decision taken at the last meeting for continuing to move this conversation forward. We have students and staff being asked to do more with aging facilities, outdated infrastructure, and growing needs. In fact, last week, the toilet overflowed at Napa, and I had to jump over the puddle to go use the bathroom. And it's just like kind of like a comedy routine at this point with this bathroom. I think I've talked about this bathroom before. Last meeting showed that this board is listening to the community, and I want to say thank you. You're listening to parents, you're listening to educators, students, and community members who believe our schools deserve investment. Bringing a bond measure to the voters this November is about giving the community the opportunity to invest in themselves, in their children, and in their future, and in this institution. Vista Unified belongs to all of us, and the public deserves the chance to decide what kind of schools we deserve. I encourage the board to keep the momentum going, stay united around the needs of students, and trust the community to rise to this moment. Let the voters decide and move this forward. And I want to say thank you very much to the student board members, especially Mr. Amiro, right? Amiro? Your speech last meeting was really inspiring, and then your response to this entire issue. And I just want to say thank you for your perspective as a student. And I just wanted to say thank you to you. Thank you.
Carol Kim, followed by Adrian Estrada.
Good evening, board members, staff members, and community. Thank you for taking up this item again. As you know, I was here last month as the speaker in support of this. I am hoping and urging all of you to vote yes to put it on the ballot tonight. Last month, I actually talked about how having HVAC systems upgraded and up-to-date HVAC systems can actually bring down absenteeism for students, can increase test scores and academic achievement. And that's just one of many examples of these kinds of things. Today, I'm going to talk about the fact that we have an apprenticeship readiness program that we run out of Vista Unified. And Dr. Doyle and I sit on the Workforce Development Board together, and we help allocate funds and resources to that. I often get asked, why can't we take in more students? Why can't we place more apprentices? And part of the reason for that is because we need to have the jobs to place them in. High quality jobs with prevailing wage that lead to middle class careers. And this is a pathway for that. When we get the bond on the ballot, if the voters of the district decide to invest in their schools this way, we can actually utilize these particular projects to ensure that we're also developing community members into middle class careers. And that's something I hope you'll also support as well as educators. So thank you so much and for your consideration. I urge you again to vote yes. Thank you.
Eugene Estrada, followed by Ashton Jones.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Senator Jake Estrada, AJ Estrada, the political director for the San Diego Village Construction Trades Council. I'm here along with everybody else to ask you to please vote to support and place this on the November ballot. You're all here to serve. You've all taken this up to serve this district. And I can't think of a better way to serve and invest in these children, invest in good jobs, good training jobs, invest in this community, allow this community to choose how their dollars are used, to choose to build a $1.3 billion infrastructure need so that teachers aren't jumping over overflowing players to use the facilities so that children have better outcomes in their test and actually have a place to go that isn't harming the community. They should be there for one reason, to learn, to improve their lives. For good middle-class jobs for students when they grow up, or their families who are looking for their time when we have crisis after crisis, especially in middle school. So please vote yes. Please give residents the opportunity to invest in their students and their families. Thank you.
Ashton Jones, followed by Jennifer Wilson.
Good evening. First of all, I want to start off by recognizing support here for this item tonight from labor to our teachers to our community, and note the lack of opposition really to moving this item forward on the ballot. I'm a resident here of Area 5, and I really urge you all to move forward with passing this item, this bond measure, onto the ballot for this November. The school effectively serves as a second home for our children and is meant to instill in them the skills to thrive and make Vista a better community than the generations that came before. And I really hope you all vote in favor, because I have been stories in the district ranging from water bottles being used to plug the roots to the stories you hear about tonight with the poor quality of restroom facilities and facilities all around, to knowing about the fact that there's asbestos in many of our facilities. I do not think that that is a welcoming second home for our students here, nor do I think that is good for their long-term health. I quite frankly don't think that that sets up any student to thrive and make this community a better community than it was left off prior. And there's no excuse to send these students into such an environment. So I really urge that between all of the support that you hear today, like again, from our educators to labor to the rest of the community, that this item is moved forward to on the ballot. Frankly, anything that would, any other vote other than that would be essentially a vote to place politics above our students, which I don't think any of us support. Thank you.
Jennifer Wilson, followed by Charles Bradshaw.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Wilson. I'm here in support of moving the bond measure forward to the November ballot.
This unifies in massive need of investment. This needs state-of-the-art facilities that students can actually learn in, educators can better teach in, and classmates staff can safely work in. I'm an electrician by trade, but I used to be an MC3 instructor with the building trades, and I taught at Vista Adult School, and speaking from experience, that facility could benefit from a bond measure that focuses on improvements at not only that school, but also in the district. Please move this bond to the November ballot for the meeting of the vote. Thank you.
Bradshaw, followed by Erica Klein.
Good evening. My name is Charles Bradshaw. Here again. I'd like to start off by thanking Trustee Martin for coming to Leadership Day at Monte Vista. It's great to have board members come and see the areas outside of your district, especially. And then Trustee Brocco, thank you for addressing avoiding school closures with the potential. So I think it's an important discussion that's being had. I think everyone knows the benefits, better facilities, more flexibility to address teacher concerns, and then no tax increases. It's kind of like a one-time event, lightning is striking. In 2028, we're not going to have that opportunity. We'll have to go to voters to ask for a tax increase. And that's not an easy task. What I'd like to ask tonight is for your yes vote, but a yes vote tonight, because we can sync up the academic and the electoral calendars. What's going to happen is the November election is going to have early voting starting October. So that means that from the time that school starts to the time that voters get their ballots, they're going to have to find a way to get to our ballot measure. It's probably going to be on the second page. It's not going to be the top of the ticket. But what we'll have if we have this summer to organize, communicate, work with parents, teachers, community organizations, we'll give ourselves the best chance to pass this ballot measure at the best time. Please urge you to vote tonight to support it so that we can activate our community in support of the president.
Erica Klein, followed by Jeanette Bradshaw.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Board members, Dr. Doyle, Cabinet. My name is Erica Howe. I'm a mom of 2 children in the Vista Unified School District. I'm also an educational occupational therapist, and I had the pleasure of working for Vista Unified for 5 years prior to COVID. I really believe in public education, and I am so happy that my kids are part of Vista Unified, and wanted to share a few stories. So in 5th grade, when my son was in Monte Vista, he went on a field trip to Cal State San Marcos. And he came back and he was so excited. And he said, Mom, I want to go to Cal State San Marcos. I said, why? He said, the classrooms are so nice. And I was like so excited for him, but my heart kind of sunk a little bit because I knew the next day he was going to have to go back to his 5th grade portables at Monte Vista. And I mean, let's face it, I've been at over 9 different schools in Vista Unified. Those portables are really not great. And right now, the staff at Monte Vista are reporting to me that there is a displaced kindergarten classroom because of a rat infestation. And my friend was just texting me tonight that the rat droppings have now been found in the counseling rooms at Monte Vista. And I just am really in support of moving this bond forward. I really feel like we all need to work together to put the children first and to get our facilities up to date. When I moved into my new home off of Buena Creek, the real estate agent said to me, don't worry, there's really great charter schools in Vista. And I looked at him and I said, you don't need to worry. I'm sending my kids to Vista Unified. They're already there. And so I really believe in public education, and my kids are not going to benefit from this bond money. I'm here to speak for the kids that haven't even entered into Monte Vista. I'm speaking for the families that are in my community that are all sending their kids to charter schools and homeschooling, or all the way to Impreza. So I'm really in support of all working together and moving this bond forward.
Jeanette Bradshaw, followed by William Stidham.
Good evening. My name is Jeanette Bradshaw. I'm a VOC parent. Have students at Monte Vista and Vita. And then I'm a VOC alumni and a homeowner in District 2. I sincerely appreciate all the work that you guys have done, considering
and the consideration that's gone into bringing the bonds to this level right now. I'm here tonight to urge the board, obviously, to move forward with placing a school facilities bond on the November ballot to let the voters decide and invest in our students and the school facilities that are failing. This decision requires 4 votes. Hopefully we'll get all 5 because it's the right thing to do from the board in order to move it forward. It is critical that you as board members acknowledge your responsibility to the students and investing in their futures and in safe learning environments. School boards have a legal duty to provide safe and functional facilities. And if you know that there's $1.3 billion of infrastructure needs, including aging classrooms, outdated HVAC systems, critical safety repairs, it's your responsibility to make sure that that gets fixed. Many of our schools are failing and in need of urgent repairs and modernization. The longer we delay addressing these issues, the more construction costs will rise and the more expensive these repairs will become for taxpayers. Approving a bond would also allow the district to free up approximately $10 to $17 million annually in the general fund that could instead be invested directly in our students and then staff where the money should go, other than fixing, patching up repairs that need big fixes. At the elementary school level alone, there's a lot of schools that need repairs that are in really poor condition. And in 2026, 3 years later, we're 3 years later now, with no clear plan and no funding identified. And so please don't let history repeat itself again. Tonight, time is ticking, and my question to you guys again, even with the money from the bond, what is your plan?
William Stedham, followed by Kat Fukuyama.
Good evening, my name is William Stedham. The Doyle board members. Superintendent. Thank you for this time to be here. Thank you for your public service. I know how dicey it can get and how these meetings can get sometimes. Just want to say thank you for being there for the kids, for their education, and for all of our future. And I think it's really important for the future here, especially just is to put this bond measure forward. Give the community an opportunity to vote on this and to show their faith and trust in the board and the schools, and they'll go to the right places. I'm an electrician with IBW, it's a union, and what happens when these bonds go through and these jobs happen? It's not just building. It's building careers, it's building communities, it's improving conditions for everyone, not just the kids here at the school. I've been able to raise a family. Both of my girls are off getting master's degrees these days, all on union's salary. And I'd love for others to have that opportunity. Our apprenticeship is a step forward for anybody, from any class, any walk of life that wants to take advantage. So please, move this bond measure forward, give everyone an opportunity, give the public an opportunity to show their faith in you. Thank you.
Now, the honorable is Kat Fukuyama.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kat Fukuyama. I reside in Vista. A big thank you to the teachers, administrators in the district. My 2 daughters received solid education. Thank you. As a community member, I'm very concerned about safety for the students and teachers. You all know why you invested so many speakers with our school. So I have attended 2 board meetings in March and April. Teachers and students described terrible condition of school students. Community members also spoke, asking the board to move forward the school facilities bond resolution to November 3rd general election. So I too can vote. I noticed at the board meetings, there was no one even a single one say they are against the bond. You were there, you heard this. The current condition of school facilities are not able to provide safe and healthy environment, a healthy learning environment to our precious students. You know, I think our students will build our future. We need to take care of them. As homeowners, my family is willing to willing to contribute to provide quality education to our students. It is important investment we can make, and you too. So please vote yes on the bond. Thank you.
Mr. Markoff, this particular item does require officially an explanation.
Okay.
So I have, Dr. Lotion will start, and then we'll bring our legal counsel up, so the board is fully informed before they engage in the discussion and a potential vote.
All right.
Dr. Lotion, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joel. President Markoff, Vice President Vargas, and all members of the Board of Trustees. On April 23rd, 2026, at the regular board meeting, item 9A, you came to consensus and asked legal counsel to bring back to you some modified language on a resolution, which is before you this evening. That resolution is marked Resolution 26-25 to place a measure a bond upon the measure for November 30, 2026. There are two documents that are attached in your pack. The first is called the Blue Line document. That outlines the language that was updated. We did send that out via Friday letter. We had a question about that. We sent out responses to those items when we had questions. The second is the resolution that would be filed. Just a few clarifications. When the resolution is filed, theoretically, that is at a future date. So it's written in past tense because it would have been after your board action. It can't be written in future tense because of the way that legal language is constructed. This item has been brought back to you to the best of our understanding, including all comments. Our counsel, Samuel Santana from DWK, is available for any questions that you might have, but really it's for the board deliberation this evening.
So we'll hand it back to you, Board President. And again, we have legal counsel here available to answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to hand it to our President Markoff.
Okay, why don't we begin with a motion and we can move into discussion?
Yes, I have, okay. So, I have one hang up on progressing with this. And that is the long range master facilities plan, has, when the board voted to consolidate two schools in my trustee area, there were 4 schools that were considered for consolidation due to facilities issues. Those 4 schools were Casita, Vista, Beaumont, and Monte Vista. So Beaumont got consolidated, Vista got moved to Rancho Minerva. And so now that leaves Casita and Monte Vista. As the representative for Area 2, as the person who has to advocate for the families that were decimated by the closure of 2 schools, I feel that I really need some guarantees moving forward that Monte Vista we will do whatever we can with this bond money to make sure that Monte Vista does not become the victim of the next school consolidation due to facilities issues. So that is where I'm at. And I have, that's my concern is I feel that I'm very strongly that we need to advocate for our friends and our children and our families in Area 2 to make sure that they will not be, that going forward, they will get this very critical elementary school saved, repaired, whatever, if we need to rebuild it, whatever we need to do. So I'm putting that out there. That is my one hang up. That is the only, otherwise I'm ready to be present.
Trustee Vargas.
Thank you, Trustee Morocco. I have a motion here. And so my motion would be to approve item 9A
resolution 2625, ordering the school bond election on November 3rd, 2026, and authorizing necessary action in connection therewith with the caveat that the board commit to prioritizing facility improvement for Monte Vista Elementary to address the conditions of the entire campus, with particular attention to expanding restroom facilities for the staff. And so that is my motion. And I'd have to elaborate on that motion once there's a second.
I second the motion.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so
Steve, we couldn't hear it. You need to speak right into the microphone. You say that again, please.
absolutely. So my motion is to approve item 9A, resolution 2625, ordering a school bond election on November 3rd, 2026, and authorizing necessary action in connection therewith, with the caveat that the board commit to prioritizing facility improvements for Monte Vista Elementary to address the conditions of the entire campus, with particular attention to expanding the restroom facilities for staff.
I second the motion.
I think, it's important that we move forward with the bond. And I think it's important that we look not just at Monte Vista. We heard concerns from every member of our community from different sites. But I think, putting a bond on the ballot not only helps out, Monte Vista specifically in this motion, but it also helps with our general fund and therefore helps out with the entire ecosystem of our school system. By making sure that we are able to use $15 to $19 million of general fund money that currently goes to deferred maintenance, we are able to use that money for other programs that this board can prioritize. Next month, we will be voting on the budget. And with that, there's money that could be spent elsewhere for programs and things that, benefit our staff, benefit our students. But I do think, that, if there's a request from one of my colleagues to look at one campus, that's, reasonable. I think as a board, we have the responsibility to look at all of our facilities. We will get a long-range facility master plan. And in the near future, I would like to request from our cabinet and our Dr. Darrell that we have a workshop to further elaborate on other priority needs for our campus. But I mean, the motion right there, will allow us to at least start that conversation, get a bond on the ballot, and letting voters decide.
I have one, this might be a legal question. Yeah, this might be a legal question. My question is, if we approve this, this resolution, which seems very reasonable and sounds very good to me. We have an election coming up in November and the board could change, is likely to change, or could change today. And I want to make sure that Monte Vista's repairs it's sort of that this will go forward. In other words, that we can't get a new board and it says, oh, no, we're just gonna close down Monte Vista. We don't really care about it. So is this binding, this motion that trustee Vargas has made?
That's a commitment by this board, no, it is, as for binding on future boards, no. You would want to do that? No, that's not nice.
Okay.
It is binding on this current group and for this motion as presented,
To answer specifically the trustee's question, no project can ever be locked by law until the guaranteed maximum price and it's bid out and the board locks it at the GMP with a signed document. But until then, we can explore it. We can do designs. Designs typically take 2 to 3 years of this nature. And there's a lot of things that can be done to facilitate that. And Monte Vista, as it exists today in the long-range facility master plan, is in category A, which is the highest priority site. So to answer your question specifically, it exists in category A, it's the highest priority site, and it can.
So
sorry.
Can you explain a little bit more about category A? You mean as highest priority that would be those would be the school sites that would be looked at first for?
The long-range facility master plan categorizes priorities by A, B, C, and D by time and severity. It does not specify the order that something has to be done. That is specified by the board during workshops on those items. But again, these items take years in planning, and this is something with the motion that was in place, we could begin discussing at a facilities meeting and even begin conceptual and design right away.
If we can do that.
Well, I just, I hear you, trustee Morocco. Your concerns about Monte Vista are very valid. As an educator that works in a school that was built in 1948, I know what that looks like and feels like for staff and students and community members. And I would just contend that this resolution to put this bond on the ballot is working to address those issues as part of the deciding trustees who had to really make hard decisions about school consolidations. We were told to close 4, and we said, no, we're gonna consolidate 2. And that was a commitment, because, you know, it's devastating to close a school. It's devastating, it is. No one runs for office to do that, but that was a commitment that we had. And with the intention of putting another bond on the ballot so that we could address the issues of Monte Vista, Casita, and the portables that continue to be on our campuses that have outlived their age and are not conducive to maximizing learning. So I hear you, I understand, but I would say that this resolution works for change, works to address your concerns as a community member and as a trustee and a representative of the folks who live in your trustee area.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'm sure that we're ready to take care of this issue. I have had many financial and fiscal concerns regarding this, and also the history of the LL bond was weighing heavy on me, and I want to thank our leadership team and the cabinet for providing me with some of the answers that I needed in order to come to a conclusion. It has not been an easy decision. There have been very loud voices on the other side, whether or not they're here in this room, they are certainly in my email. A lot of it had to do with the LL bond and how it was spent. So with that, as a board trustee, of course, I can pay attention to the fiscal responsibilities of this and also track where the spending is. But it's also going to take you. It's going to take the community. You can't just walk away from this when there's a vote and say, oh, it'll all be okay. No, you have to stay engaged, because this is not going to happen in 1 year where all this money is going to be spent. It's going to happen in a decade. I'm not going to be here in a decade, trust me. Please trust me on that. So you're going to have to step up and pay attention to this if this bond is passed. And please don't walk away, because we saw what happened. There were a lot of disgruntled people regarding LL, especially the sites that didn't get one thin dime. And we can't allow that to happen again. And so it has been a very difficult decision, and it requires faith in the school district. It requires trust in our leadership team and the board, and it also requires commitment from the community. And so I hope that you're willing to pick up your portion if the bond goes on the ballot in November.
Okay. Our student board members.
Could I ask each of you, I'm so sorry, but some of us cannot hear you, so if you could lean toward the microphone when you speak, student board members, and then the rest of our board members, when you want to make a statement, you could go a little bit closer, because even I can't hear some of you.
I just wanted to hear, I wanted to hear from our student board members.
Thank you. Student board members?
I think that the community showing up and having so many hold cards just truly speaks for itself. I think, like I said, I went to Impressive Vista Magnet and I go to Mission Vista Go Wolves, but the campuses obviously range because they were built at different times. But I think that the love, like with the teachers and the staff and the students, just like is equal above all of them. And I think that the love for the campuses should be equal as well. And I think that all the Vista campuses need upgrades, obviously, and I can't support this enough. So.
I would like to talk about a few things. You've already heard from the community. They provided their voices, so I'm going to give you mine. I am a product of this school district. I moved here when I was very young from Chicago, and I've been through Lake Elementary, the former Rancho Manuva Middle School, and Rancho Buena Vista High School. And I am so grateful that I stayed in this school district. And I get really sad when I hear that there's families that want to put their kids in charter schools and not in the public school system because they don't trust it. And ultimately that comes from the infrastructure. First, I want to speak about Rancho Minerva Middle School. I was devastated when it was closed. And I know It was a tough decision and there was many factors that played into that, but having a school closed is really devastating. That was my community, and Rancho Minerva was the reason that I got into this type of stuff, into advocating for my community. It was there where I learned about advocation, and having my community closed was really sad. So I just don't want to see that happen to other schools in the future. Additionally, strong infrastructures build confidence in the students at the schools who go to them. At RBV, I haven't had to experience the infrastructure issues that occur at Monte Vista or other situations, but I still see safety concerns. There's no air conditioning in the gym. It can either get really, really hot or really, really cold, which is a safety liability. It took a long time to get air conditioning in the weight room, which was another safety issue. The track and field is being worked on, which I am very grateful for, as it will support the RBV community for years. But ultimately, students feel confident when their schools are built with strong infrastructure. And I want to give back to my community, and that's because I have faith in my school district and faith in my school. I want to extend that to the other students in the school district. Additionally, touching on the subject of creating jobs for the community, at RBV, our internship program has grown by 400% in the last few years that it has been in place. I speak to my friends that are in internships in welding, at the local veterinarian, at many places across the campus. And we also have our CTE welding program. These kids want to do work and they want to get involved in the community. And having this bond pass will let my peers, people my age, get integrated within their community, put their roots in this community, and do positive work. So ultimately, it will support our students. And I just want to see the future students of Vista Unified have strong infrastructure that will push them to stay here. Thank you.
So do we have a commitment from the board? It's part of the motion, is that correct, Cipriano, the word commitment? For Monte Vista?
Yep, you have my commitment. I'm here for 2.5 years, so.
No.
No.
The motion has the word commitment in it.
The motion has the word commitment for Monte Vista in it, correct?
With the board, that the board commit to prioritizing facility improvements for Monte Vista, yes.
Yes.
So just to be clear for the board, there is a resolution on the table, and then there's a friendly amendment to the resolution. And so that is binding for this current board, as you heard our legal counsel say. And I would hope that later on the agenda, you would have a conversation that immediately following up with a focus on facility improvement workshop, so we can solidify that commitment.
Is that agendized?
It will be, yeah, it's agendized, yes.
It's agendized on this
Board
agenda?
business, board business.
Okay.
Trustee Morocco.
Okay. Thank you. Do we want to call?
I'd like to hear from President Markov.
Short and sweet. I think we've identified a need. We've demonstrated fiscal responsibility, and we've clearly heard from the community. So I'm good. Are you guys ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, we want to do a roll call.
Please read it correct. Please read the entire one, so.
Read the entire one. All right.
The item.
The item.
Actually, it would be Cipriano rereading
he's got the
it,
motion.
rereading it, just so everyone's clear.
Once again, the motion is, I move to approve item 9A, resolution number 2625, ordering the school bond election on November 3rd, 2026, and authorizing necessary action in connection therewith, with the caveat that the board commit to prioritizing facility improvements for Monte Vista Elementary to address the conditions of the entire campus, with particular attention to expanding restroom facilities for staff.
We'll do a roll call. Trustee Morocco.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Alvarado.
Aye.
Trustee Vargas.
Aye.
Trustee Markov is aye. Item 9A passes unanimously.
Hey, don't run for that door. Remember, you're committed with me.
I'd like to also let the student board members, go. It is eight,
Could we take,
almost
could
8:40.
we take a quick break to set a?
Yeah, we can take a, what do you guys want? Let's take, come back at, what time is it? 9:50.
All right, President Markup, I think we're ready to resume.
Okay, we move on to item 9E. We have a motion to ratify the purchase orders.
Move to approve.
Your second. All right, we have, any discussion on the ratification of purchase order? Okay, take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention?
I abstain because I have a conflict of interest.
Motion passes for one abstention. We'll move on to item 9C.
I move that we approve item 9C. Second.
Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, move on to item 9D.
I move that we approve item 9D. Second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Item D passes, 9D passes. Item 9E approved.
I move that we approve item 9E. Second.
Okay. Any, comments, questions, or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, and moving on to item 9F.
I move that we approve item 9F. Second.
Okay, any comments, questions, discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, item 9F passes. We're gonna move on to the consent calendar, agenda items 2 through 15. All matters listed on the consent calendar are considered by the board for routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion and the form listed below. There will be no discussion on these items prior to the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, the staff, or the public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Superintendent and staff recommend approval of all consent calendar items.
President Markup, if you don't mind, I would like to request that the board pull 11C. We just have a simple explanation for that item.
And I have an item I'd like to go.
Okay.
14B.
I move to approve the consent calendar minus 11Cs and 14Bs.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Consent calendar passes. We're gonna move on to 11C, item 11C.
Well, I'm gonna have Dr. Loescher come up and explain. It's a simple adjustment. There were a couple attachments that were inaccurate, and we wanted to make sure that the board was voting on the accurate attachments. Dr. Loescher, or if Anna wants to explain, I just want to make sure the board is aware of what they're approving.
I think we should give the first go and then I hear this.
So with the last,
A little bit closer to the microphone.
sorry. So last year we had a 2% salary increase for all employee groups. We did a salary schedule update at that time. We're doing, this is for this next school year, starting July 1, 2026 for 2%. There was an error on the management salary schedule. It stated 2%, but no numbers were changed. So it's not. So that's an update.
I move that we approve item 11C. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, we move on to item 14B.
Okay, so, yes,
Terrence.
this is the calendar, the calendar committee. I have a question about the 27-28 calendar. I noticed that, we have professional development for our high school and our, district employees on January 6th and 7th, but the students don't return until, January 10th. And since we have a lot of employees in the district who have students that are in the district, it seems as if they're going to have to cut their winter break short by like 4 days. I know that from a school perspective, Saturday and Sunday don't count, but in real life, they do count. And so people that are visiting family and stuff like that. So I know that Preston Markov, you're on the calendar committee, so maybe I was just wondering, I know that it's a lot of work and I just am wondering if there'd be any way to sort of move it so that we can do the professional development like on Monday, Tuesday, and then resume school on Wednesday, or I know that this is asking a lot, I'm working kettle worms and so, you know, I just wanted to put that out there to see if there was anything that could be done for that.
I'm okay with doing it.
No, I mean, there's a committee that recommended this, right? How many folks are on our committee and there's representatives from, talk to me about the representatives on this committee.
15 to 20 VTAs.
Okay, and so I'm sure that they came up with this calendar for finals and for PD. I mean, they put a lot of thought.
I get that, but I mean, at the same time, I'm sort of looking at this from the perspective of, is it really fair for our employees, you know? Have to, come back 4 days earlier from their winter break, whereas, the students aren't, when everybody else in the district doesn't come back until they've got those 2 extra days of weekend. So I'm just wondering if you can maybe hunt this one back to the calendar committee and see if they could work on it.
My comment, but there may be PD days planned throughout these. And then there's also teachers that go in to work on setting up their classrooms before the new semester in secondary. It's kind of common, before the kids come back, there's usually a day or two. But
Well, my point is that January 6th and January 7th are Thursday and Friday. Wednesday and Thursday? Okay, and then January 10th is a Monday. And no, because school resumes, no, you're on the wrong, you're wrong, 27, 28.
It's a Thursday, Friday.
Yes, it's a Thursday, Friday, and then school resumes the following Monday. So that's 4 days earlier, that's full weekend. And then the 2 days before, I'm saying, can we do it in a way where possibly we start if the school, students come back on like the 12th, maybe?
no, then you have a problem with educational minutes. Also, it is common, and where's Rachel?
Right here.
We have PD already scheduled for Jan. Well, no, that's a year and a half out, but
Yeah.
it would not be, it's not irregular for the teachers to come back 2 days before the students in the new semester for their PD.
And something that we would have to do is the days would get added onto the end of the school year.
Right.
And right now, that last day is a Thursday, so
Right.
we would be ending on a Wednesday.
Well, what about starting the school year a little bit earlier? Would be nice.
These are all essentially work.
Yeah, well, see, that's why I'm wondering if we could maybe ask the calendar, send this calendar back to the calendar committee to take a look at it and see if they possibly could. I mean, I understand if it's just not feasible and can't be done. But it would be kind of nice, a nice gesture for employees to do that. So that they can have a bunch of days with family.
I hate to argue with you, but the Thursday and the Friday, it's normal routine for the teachers to come back for PD at the end of the week when the students are returning on Monday.
Okay, so you're saying it's not a big deal for them?
No, it's almost expected.
Okay, all right, then I'm good then. Okay, if that's what you're telling me. Then, okay.
I make a motion to approve 14B.
Second,
Would you have any more comments?
No. I was gonna make the motion.
All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, we move on to.
Board business.
I think we're on 8.
We're almost there.
Yeah, 18A. Okay, New Clearing Development 2026, 2027.
All right, so we are nearing the end of the process, as you know. I think we all appreciate Dr. Shigela and his team worked tirelessly on this process. As we mentioned at the last board workshop, thank you, board members, for your feedback. Dr. Shigeo and team have the packet in front of you. He's going to go over it in a moment. But for the sake of Anna and our fiscal team, I've said this before, I want to say it again. We really need your final feedback now in order for her to have the budget prepared for you when you do approve the final budget at the end of June. So this is really kind of your last option to give us feedback so that we can do our due diligence and have it prepared for you at the end of June. So take it away, Dr. Shigeo.
Thank you, Dr. Doyle. I think the easiest way to approach this is, we had really good conversations on the 30th when we met. We put in the Friday letter last week some changes that we made mainly around funding sources. Working on to put funding that we could in more restrictive areas, which then frees up money for us. So that's what we did. We also needed to add substitute somewhere for some of the core PD. So if you look on page 33, that's where the first change was made. That first change, we noted in when we were sitting around the table on the 30th, that there was a redundancy. So we had talked about the reading difficulty screener being in there twice. And so we deleted the incorrect one, and now we just have the correct one. Remember, this is money coming from the state with the direct purpose of supporting the reading difficulty screener. Page 36, the change there was we added a line specifically for TK teachers to be paid by a TK grant. And so we had talked that evening that there was previously about $150,000 set aside for TK furniture enhancements next year. The elementary schools are all currently receiving, they have orders in for furniture refreshes, and all the TK classes have furniture. And so we're eliminating, like it was on page 69, but we were able to eliminate that expense and reallocate that to actual professional development for the teachers. And what's great about on page 36 of specifically calling out the TK teachers, because it's early education money, we're also able to invite our EES preschool partner teachers. So the low income preschools that are housed on our school campuses, we can invite those teachers in to get the same training as our TK teachers, which is a great gift and opportunity. Page 38 and 39, we were able to reduce out of the famous block grant. Say Trustee Martin and I, we call it our block grant. We know we have to share it with Sean and others, but what we were able to do is with some restricted money for early education, we were able to move about $200,000 out of the block grant for Mount Transformations. And so we're just, all we've done at this point is just cleaning some very minor elements out. We provided the list of changes for you in the Friday letter. We provided the clean version with changes in the Friday letter. And then we also made note of your 3 priority areas based on the governor's May revise, which happened today. And are there any questions at this point or concerns? Yes.
We had more than 3 priorities. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the list and it's, I don't know.
So
there's probably about 8 or 10.
So we're actually right now, Trustee Martin, we're talking about different things. So that is a list that we got that's in front of you. That is the list of items that we came to consensus on that was important for the board. Keeping combos, the assistant principals.
Keeping
Keeping the elimination of.
Thank you very
much. And that's all reflected in the blueprint, just like we said around talked about. When I'm saying the 3 things, what we specifically need, those are the 3 things on the 30th that you guys came up with. You wanted to talk about the middle school assistant principals, support, the lacrosse helmets, and the 3rd one is escaping me.
Escaping into.
But we have
But
it.
it was really important.
It's super important. We should definitely put money towards it.
Okay, all right, I'll accept that. Okay.
So a quick update from the board on this. I was waiting for the right timing. Again, as we mentioned before, Dr. Loescher will be coming back with you with a full report of the governor's May revise. It did come out today. We cannot give you specific information, but the list that you have provided with us, we're going to get to work on it now. It looks like it's going to be good for us with the May revise. Again, it's preliminary. I don't know if you want to make a statement, Sean, but know that those priorities that you identified are the priorities we're working on. We will start working on them tomorrow to see if we can make them happen. Go ahead, Sean, if you want to say anything else.
It's preliminary. It's very preliminary, but it does in fact, look about the way we told you it would. We didn't feel the need to modify anything, on our current plans. And it will take, economists and legal analysis about 10 days to break it down. That's normal. So the workshops begin on the 26th, so it'll be in advance of the June 10th date. But, so far, what we have noted is that, they maintained the COLA at 2.87. One of the things that had been feared is they would slash the COLA. They did not. The money that was removed from the budget looks like it may have been replaced with Prop 98 funds, which is what we told you to estimate. And there are some other peculiarities to it that we're working our way through. So we appreciate your trust and your confidence in working with us on this as we work through this cycle in about 10 days to break it all down. Really, it will be early next week before we have the best starting place for it. So thank you.
So we are aware of both lists. The list Trustee Martin you referred to that you did in March, which is the longer list. I believe there were 9 items, and then the list of 3 that you identified before. We are working on all those elements, and the more we find out, the more we'll connect with the board about how we can integrate those into the budget.
And that third item was the behavior specialist, that's, you know.
Yes, another team for elementary. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. That's really important to me. Dr. Doyle, the list that is a little bit longer, are we going to try and fulfill? We're going to try and fulfill those too, but I talked about COGS and how every
Yes, you have to put together.
every elementary principal that I talked about in middle school and high school, they said that things are working.
Yes.
Which lightens my heart.
Yeah.
And so can we make sure that we are not trying to eliminate any of the COGS for the student education?
Yes.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
committed to that. We built a system. I say we because our board, this current board, and the previous board built amazing systems. And I want to be specific for the record. The systems are academic, our teachers. That one example is the elimination of combination classrooms. That's part of our system. Another system is social emotional support, behavior supports, counselors and others. And another element of the system are liaisons, family connections. And of course, other elements of the system are instructional assistants and others. We're committed to maintaining those systems. We're going to work with Dr. Shigela and Dr. Mosher to try to leverage what we heard from the May Revise. They need a little bit more information to follow up on the other elements you guys have identified on the list of items that we would love to integrate into the budget.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
All right. Thank you, Dr. Shigela. This is just
Thank you.
information.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do have one more. Can you tell me, what were any funds realized from the projects audit that I asked for?
Oh, yes,
Oh, good.
absolutely. So, some of the things that we talked about on the 30th is, we know there's one program called Beyond SSD that the counselors do not like. It's a multi-year contract, so that goes till 2027. So that's one of the things that's hanging in there. But an example, what's been in the news lately, Canvas. You know, we were buying licenses for everybody in the district, but we don't need that. And so the audit that you asked us for really pushed us in working with principals on who actually does need such a thing. And so that contract is gone. There's another program called CAM. We were buying previously 18,000 licenses. We're going down to 2,000. There's our impactor license. We are going down from a quote of 180,000 down to 130,000. So we are, and I want to give a lot of like to our support, our secretarial team office and our TOSAs. They are really digging into the vendors. They're not taking no for an answer. They're really pushing it. And we're hoping to lead some of those conversations around, we don't work for them. We work for our kids. And if you can provide a service for our kids that means something, that is affordable and reasonable, then we'll work with you. So we're trying to change the tenor.
Great. Can you give my thanks to your team, please?
Yes.
I realize that's a huge shift.
I
Thank
agree.
you.
I agree.
I know they're all watching. And
And thank you, and thank your team, and that's really good work. And so I just really want to thank everybody for their hard work, and we so appreciate them.
Thank you. That means a lot. It really does.
Thank you, Dr. Scammon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 18B, Vista Unified School District Career Technical Education 2026.
Thank you, board members. This is what's called the Lanterne Rouge in cycling. That's the little red light on the back of the caboose. So I'm bringing up the rear this evening. Can you go on the next slide?
Mr. Post, thank you. Mr. Kroll. So this is Robert Kroll. He's the coordinator of career pathways in our school district, doing really amazing work. You heard a couple examples of that earlier this evening when people referenced the apprentice readiness program, which Robert's in charge of, and also the connection we have with the city and some of the work our kids do in workplace learning. So thank you for your help. And I know that you have some slides to get through, so we really appreciate it. And I know that Steve Post thanks you for bigging up the rear tonight.
I will try to get us done before the deadline.
There you go.
I'm not a bit timing you.
Okay, next slide, please. This one right here, defeating generational poverty. I wanted to make sure that this one was included. Thank you, Eric. Defeating generational poverty.
Yes, one more time.
Defeating generational poverty. I'm not as charismatic as Eric says, but no, I really am pleased to see that this is going to continue to be our marching orders. And I think that CTE is an important part of meeting that goal. So what is CTE? Career Technical Education. I do fall into acronyms. I'm an educator. I can't help it. Career Technical Education is a program of study that involves a multi-year sequence of courses that integrates core academic knowledge with technical and occupational knowledge to provide students with a pathway to post-secondary education. And I think one of the key elements of that is that program of study. So we start exposing students to a broad range of careers in middle school. And that builds their interest where they then go on to high school, complete at least a 2-year pathway sequence, and then go on post-secondary, whether that's a 4-year university, our local community colleges, an apprenticeship program, or a trade school. There's some things that set CTE apart for technical education. We do have our own standards. Those standards include the career ready practice standards, knowledge and performance anchor standards. They have standards that are individual to each of their own pathways. And then there's a matrix that ties those standards all back to academic standards in math, reading, and language arts. Another part that sets career technical education apart is the credentials. So our CT teachers have a designated subjects credential. That's slightly different than other high school teachers. And that means that they've had at least 3,000 hours of experience in their industry sector. So they're bringing that knowledge back to the students and really being able to impart the industry protocols, tools, techniques that are specific to those areas. And CT does see different funding, a little additional funding, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So Eric asked me a very important question, and it came from his daughter. And we talk a lot about pathway leaders in CT. That's one of the ways that we judge the quality of our programs, how many of our students are completing a pathway. And he said, well, you know, my daughter's a CT pathway completer in another district. And like, she doesn't know what that really means. What benefit is that to the student? So I took that to heart and brought back, you know, a few things that CT pathway completers do get. So they do gain real world skills and experience. So they're learning on industry standard equipment. They're using industry standard tools, technologies, and strategies. I want to make sure that I wanted to bold this, but I think so I couldn't make it. But CT is a college and career program. So our students, and I will talk about that a little bit later, but our students come out of our programs and prepared for success in post-secondary. They also can earn valuable industry recognized certifications. I'll give you a list of some of the certifications that our students get. But more and more teacher employers, when we talk to them, they want to know what students can do. And those certifications are proof that they can do things. CT provides a kind of a low barrier to entry, a low risk way to explore students' passions. Something that we find in our internship programs and in our CT programs. Sometimes it's not just what they find that, hey, I love this. Sometimes it's just as valuable to find out that you know, this isn't such a great fit for me. I don't enjoy spending hours post-production doing video editing. You know, I like to take the pictures. I don't like to fix them afterwards. Our students build professional connections, either through mentorship or those weak tie secondary social networks that are really what lead to advancement in careers, whether it's getting a job or advancing in a job. Our students do, because of those industry credentials, come out of our programs ready to earn more than their peers. So California recognizes 15 different industry sectors. They're a little bit rigid about the way that they classify these sectors. This has not changed since 2013. And I think we know that the workplace has changed a lot since then. But nationally, they have the National Career Clusters Framework, which is a much more dynamic way of envisioning the way that careers work together and the skills that you gain work together. And I'm pleased to say that I just got something in an email from the CDE this morning asking for input on our new anchor standards and career standards for several of our pathways. And their hope is that they will be trying to align to national career clusters. So I'll be happy to include that opportunity for feedback in Friday. So we have a variety of pathways at our high schools. There's a significant amount of overlap at the high schools. There's a lot of pathways that are similar across the board, but there's some that are unique to each site. And that's really based on some are legacy. They've been around for a long time. They've been existing facilities. For instance, our auto facility at Vista High is as old as the school, 1972. And we've spent a lot of time and effort on bringing that back and modernizing that. Student interest is one of the two pillars that we use to determine new pathways. So it's student interest and it's labor market information. Does it lead to a living wage job in San Diego County? So as you see this at Mission Vista, graphic design, photography, TV, film, and stage technology, those are all arts, media, entertainment pathways. Those are common to a lot of our different high schools. Some ones that stand out there is the computer science pathway. And they've been doing incredible work there. We're very fortunate to hire a new teacher when one of our rock star teachers, Jeff Yee, retired last year. And they're getting into some of the machine learning and AI. So they're learning how to code for these things. We also just started an emergency responder pathway. And that was based on student interest. There used to be a patient care program and students expressed that, no, this is something, we want something more hands-on. We want something that's more in the public service. And so we responded. We hired a great teacher. And we've been able to bring that to life. And I've got a pretty cool picture of something that we're purchasing, and hopefully we'll be able to get done with the help of our classified employees. So, Rancho Buena Vista. Rancho Buena Vista has the largest number of individual programs. They have those same 4 arts, media, entertainment pathways that I mentioned at Mission Vista, but they also have the new welding and construction facility. So they house the welding program, the construction program, and those are now, we've expanded those into 4 or 3-year pathways. So students that are really enjoying that can stay with them a little bit longer. We have patient care there. And we also, within patient care, have a second pathway that's a dual enrollment course with Cal State San Marcos that is focused on mental and behavioral health. And that's an area of need for our students, and it's expanding across health. Vista High, some of their standout programs, our culinary arts program. That beautiful new kitchen that I think of is now 13 years old. So we've been going through some modernization there, some upgrades as well. Chef Plunkett, who actually taught me a lot about this job, retired a couple of years ago. And again, we've been able to find a rock star replacement in Chef Aarons, and he's taken it a few different directions. So we've now got a pizza oven in there, a couple other things that the students are enjoying. We've slowed to get him up to speed, the cadence of our Panther cafes, and we're going to be hoping to bring that back to once a month rather than once a quarter. Our ag program is fantastic. I've got some pictures to share about some things that we've been able to do with that program. That's actually 2 separate pathways with agri-science and animal science. So our students are getting ready for the fair as they always do, so we're getting ready to set them up. Our auto technology program, again, as I said, built in 1972, so it's needed some upgrades. We finally replaced the compressor that was 30 years old and picking up and running.
I give some input here. One of the problems that I saw while out looking at schools the construction pathway that's over at Rancho Buena Vista, at Roosevelt Middle School, they also have a construction pathway. Unfortunately, those kids don't go to Rancho. So is there a way to align the middle school interests with the high schools that they will be most likely attending? There was quite a bit of disappointment when I was at Roosevelt with the students that wouldn't be able to continue with construction over at Vista High. I don't know what the facilities are like as far as opportunity to put in construction over at Vista High as well. The Rancho is obviously very, very popular. But can we align the feeder schools for the high schools?
There's a lot of considerations with that, a lot of them to do with facilities. We've looked at locations and really money is the thing that stands in the way as far as building facilities. As far as aligning our programs, we do try to make sure that we are sending our students on with interests that they've learned in their middle school on into their high school. To that end, we're actually meeting over this summer. We've worked with HR to be able to get our teachers that have a single subject credential, that qualify, that have industry hours, whether they've done some jobs before they enter education, to get a designated subjects credential. So what that's going to allow us to do is offer middle school or CTE courses, the introduction course in the middle schools. And so our middle school teachers are meeting with our high school teachers to make sure that those pathways are completely aligned and that there's a sequence of skills that they learn along the way. One of the ways
But it needs to be the feeder school, the middle school feeder school, or else the kids are going to be transporting across town, or, maybe they won't want to go. In the future, can we just keep that in mind?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing from you, Trustee Martin, is that if we use Roosevelt as an example, and many of those kids matriculate into Vista High, we know this, that maybe perhaps we could have a culinary program at Roosevelt because it will matriculate into culinary, and maybe an auto program. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, and then maybe put construction
Madison, yeah, we have one at Madison, by the way.
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, this came up on the Superintendent's Council for Education Excellence that we heard from the students that said this very thing, that they were in these programs in the high school they weren't able to continue them. I thought that we were starting taking these kids on field trips to the various high schools so they could see what is offered and over that pathway. So that way they could go to, so like a student at Roosevelt could go to Rancho Minerva if they wanted to.
It's very important that they know what options are available to them. So we've done a couple small things as far as like producing videos so that they know. But as Dr. Scala will explain, we have actually taken every middle school student to all three of the comprehensive schools.
Yes, one of the things you funded last year in the blueprint.
Right.
And then Trustee Martin, you bring up a really good point about the middle school programs and feeders. So what happened over time at the middle schools is they began developing different electives that both teachers had skill and ability in, and there was teacher or student interest in. And so they're not actually yet, we're working on that, CTE classes, they're elective programs, which have been a hit. And so we have 4 middle schools, 3 of them have wood shops where they are doing those type of things. So Madison, Roosevelt, and Vita each have their own standalone wood shops that are doing those types of things that would feed. And what you're talking about, Trustee Morocco, with the Superintendent's Council that we heard from them is, one, I will always remember Cody Meyer's best friend said he's at the wrong school, he's at this high, it should be in RBV for the construction program, they didn't know it. That's where we got the idea from the students to send them on the field trips and make sure that they understand of what is possible and where. It is really difficult to say we're going to have an auto shop in all 3 high schools. That's the infrastructure nightmare. But what we can do is ensure that students have awareness. And what Robert was able to do with Rachel in working on the CT middle school credentialing, supporting the teachers in that, is to then look at where the feeder's going, what is available, and how do we start building that. So you're predicting the future.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to get.
In fact, on Monday, Madison teachers are meeting with the construction teacher at RBV to plan for the summit.
That's great. Thank you so much.
So to that point, clarify for me if money, CTE money is allowed to be used for these feeder programs at the middle school for facilities, for equipment and such.
I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later.
Okay, got it.
But the facilities part, they're really, that's one of those thou shalt nots, and I'll get into it's allowable, but it's not. But by getting the teacher their designated subjects credentialed, and we code the course correctly as a CTE course, then we can fund it with CTE grant funds.
Robert, can you talk to me about Marisha? Like I did that class 21 years ago. Just all like the same equipment it feels like when I go visit it, and like and so like what is needed in that, like, bring it up to like what is needed for the next century of like, auto mechanics. Obviously, battery and electric is one way. But what are the other things that we can do to improve that particular?
We have room for another lift in there. We eliminated an old pit lift that was frankly a hazard for students. So we were able to invest in that and eliminate that. We have invested in electric vehicle technology. So we brought in a trainer system where they can safely train on all of the electrical systems. I had heard a nightmare story about a school district that had brought in an electric vehicle to test, and evidently it's a very bad idea to cause faults on the electric vehicle. So we brought in a testing platform. But there's a number of ways that we could keep looking at that. We've got our eyes on a couple pieces of equipment for advanced safety systems. So every time, vehicles are getting smarter and smarter, and all of those cameras and all of those sensors, you need a technician that's able to do that. So we are working with our partners at North County Ford to identify, what is the latest and newest technology that we should invest in. That's another thing that sets CT apart, is each of our programs has an advisory committee. So we bring in industry partners that give us that advice and tell us what is our next investment, whether it's in tools or training or the way that you're teaching this particular thing is.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on Trustee Vargas, your question. I just sent the board members, I hope you got the text of some of our students at North County Ford just a few days, literally this week. It happened. It was amazing. There were students from Alta Vista and Murray High School. In this case, we brought kids from Vista as well. And one of our purposes, Trustee Vargas, is to deepen the relationship we have with local businesses so we can get the tools that the kids really need and the cars that the young adults need to work on. So the cool thing with Frank, he's the general manager over at North County Ford, is he's absolutely committed to working with us hand in hand to make sure that we have the correct tools and the kids are ready for real cars in the real world. And specifically, when we walked through they had like 20 bays of cars that they were working on. They were working on diesel trucks, they were working on electric cars, and they were working on F-150, naturally aspirated gas cars. So it was pretty amazing the work they were doing.
Great. On the culinary side, I met a chef a couple months ago. She wanted to partner with us, and so I'll pass that contact along. I think there's incredible talent out there, and obviously, let's lead into that. My last question is on agriculture. What's been the latest there with the FFA? I know that they expanded with the teacher. Obviously, more interest in the center definitely help. But what is the latest over there?
Yeah, we were able to hire a second teacher this year, which has been a goal for that program for as long as I've known about it. So we had 10 full classes going. We just replaced all of the pens, and we replaced one half of the pens. The next half of the pens are here. Over the last several years, we've taken that classroom down to the studs, completely rebuilt it back up. So we addressed HVAC issues, electrical issues. So the classroom itself has been essentially rebuilt from the ground up. We've added 2 large storage buildings there. Took out what was kind of for lack of a better word, a J&E shed that was out there. There was a pole barn that was eliminated. We put in 2 very large sheds that have that appropriate barn look to them. Replaced the whole section of concrete so that it's now ADA compliant. That goes all the way from the entrance at the parking lot all the way down to the greenhouse. The next plan we have is to address the greenhouse and to replace all of the temperature controls. So we can start working on that. It is remarkably hard to find a contractor to work on greenhouses right now. Surprisingly hard. So anybody has any contacts, I'd love to hear them, but we're working for about 2 years to get a bid, at the end of 2002.
Yeah, we should have the board members, each of you, we'll reach out and have you visit it, because of all of our CT programs, I think the ag department has been transformed the most. It's pretty dramatic, the change.
Yeah, I've got a picture of it attached to it.
Greater than the classroom, good if not one of those portables that's like.
Well, it's still a portable classroom, but it was taken down to the bare studs, rip all the wiring out, replace the, like you said, replace the HVAC, re-roof, the whole,
It was completely
it's about as new as you can get, having straight.
What's the lifespan?
Well, we're hoping for another 20 years at least with, now that it's been rebuilt. All right, next slide.
I got it. Want me to go on? Move on?
Sure. As I said, CT is a college and career program, so on our CCI indicator, we are in the green. Couple quotes that I pulled out onto that and message. The students who completed a 2 to 3 year CT program are 8 to 10 percentage points more likely to enroll in college after high school. They're more likely to persist in college, less likely to drop out of their first year. And academic performance meets or exceeds that of other traditional college prep programs, especially when it's linked with a rigorous academic core. There's a very large study that came out of Texas last year that showed that really the sweet spot for CTE is pathway completion linked with dual enrollment. So linked with the college course. I wanted to include these slides. It really is showing that positive trend line, even though, as we're all painfully aware that we are a declining enrollment district, here showing continued enrollment increases in CTE, and on the next slide in pathway completers. Also wanted to include the next slide here that is kind of of course, it looks like our CT programs look like the demographics match our students in general, but that's the case for every school district. There are a lot of school districts that, if they are heavily into the trades, then those numbers actually skew in a different direction. So they tend to focus much more heavily on our Hispanic students of color. I think that it really shows that our counselors understand that these are quality programs that have great benefits for our students, and they're placing students into our programs. Okay, what certifications our students can earn? OSHA 10, so that's essentially a prerequisite for any sort of construction job. So you're getting your OSHA safety training. CPR, basic life support, those we are actually offered not just to our patient care courses, emergency responder, but our construction students, our welding students are getting those certifications as well. And culinary Cert Safe Manager and food handlers cards. So Cert Safe Manager is their second year program. Really actually a very valuable certification to take with you straight into work. NC3 are the certifications that our auto tech students get, and those translate directly into jobs. Like this shows that I can balance a tire. This shows that I can do a vehicle inspection. It shows that I can do an alignment on the vehicle. Early college credit. So we can do. They used to be called articulated credit with our community colleges. They've changed that. It's usually to credit by exam. So many of our programs do get early college credit. If you have a B or better in the course and a B or better on the final exam, you get college credit for that course. We also, as I mentioned earlier, we have dual enrollment CT courses. That's something that we are looking to expand going forward. That's actually a college level course taught by a college professor. In Vista, that's a college professor linked with one of our teachers in the room. And they get both high school credit and college credit. And we actually have a computer science AP CTE course. So we get about $1.5 million a year annually. That can fluctuate depending on what grants are offered. Those are mostly state programs through CTIG, K-16, Golden State, Strong Workforce, and our federal money's come from like Perkins T. They do have a number of restrictions. In fact, they have a great number of restrictions. Every grant has seemingly written by committee has its own group of of people that want to see what direction it goes in. So I work very closely with our state auditors and with our accountants to make sure that we're spending the our categories. But the golden rule really is supplement, not supplant. So we're able to purchase things that the school district wouldn't normally purchase. And that goes, the example I usually give is like, I can't buy a desk for a CT program, but I can buy a drafting table. I can't buy a Chromebook for a student, but I can buy a beautiful iMac with Adobe software in our graphic arts programs.
So I just need to point this out for the board. So this $1.5 million we get annually, that's not automatic. Robert actually has to write the grant to get it. It's competitive.
It is quite competitive and it changes every year. So unfortunately, I don't want to complain about the state funding formula for that, but you can't make predictions and you can't save it up. So you're expending is the money as it comes in. I can't say, well, I'm going to hoard this for 3 years and then we can build an auto shop. Unfortunately. In fact, it's very rare that our grants allow for any sort of facilities work whatsoever. We can use facilities money for ADA access, which is how we're able to do some of the concrete work and some of the other things. But really, they look at that and say, well, that's the school district's job.
Can I add just one more thing? In the welding and modern construction labs at RBB, didn't CTE pay for all that equipment?
We paid for, yeah, absolutely. So all of the equipment as well as CT facilities funds is what kicked off the program. And Dr. Loescher, that total reimbursement to us was
$3 million,
3.9 million for the first half plus another 1.4 million. That's a check being cut.
Nearly $5 million.
So some of the things that we're able to do with this CT money, we have CTS. We love acronyms, right? So CTSOs, Career Technical Student Organizations, we're able to fund competitions and trips for those students. Those are our closest students. So health science students from Vista. We fund competitions. Those are construction RDB. They just won the Construction Industry Education Foundation's Craftsmanship Awards. So very proud of them. But I think we should mention the auto shop because that is showing some of that on. So that right there, it's hard to tell what you're looking at, but that is an on-vehicle alignment tool. So it uses lasers to align the tools or the tires. So you don't have to take anything apart. The vehicle sits there, out to the tires, shoots the lasers, gets along. It was a rainy day, so it's not the prettiest of pictures, but those are brand new pens at the Vista High Impact program. And I don't want to speak for the cases, but they seem very happy to there. Weeks ago. We are updating our updating equipment and some of our ovens in the culinary program. Next, so those computers, we're going to be refreshing our computers in all of our arts, media, entertainment labs, and so those are going to be replaced with $3,000 iMacs that are 1 terabyte each times 150 computers. So you can see that just even that, right? That's a pretty significant investment. And we're able to do that because IT, we have a great partnership, and they're going to work over the summer, not this summer, the following summer, to make sure that when they bring those in, it doesn't interrupt teachers and student learning. The picture on the right, again, very hard to see, but that's called a nanomage table. And that is a piece of equipment that is really cool. If you can get into one of our patient care programs, we have one at Vista High and one at RDB. It's about a 6-foot long table, and it allows you to do virtual dissections. So you can look at any body system you want and dig right in. You want to look at the end, this takes you right into it. And you want to talk about grabbing student attention. It's a way to learn anatomy a lot better than old flashcards. So, wanted to say when we were speaking earlier, the classified school employees week, I work so closely with our classified employees. We would not be able to do what we do in CTE without the site finance techs. We buy a lot of stuff, like a lot. The site finance techs are doing that work. Our purchasing department, our warehouse. Shout out to Anna Escobar, the account for CTE, who keeps me in mind. Grounds maintenance facilities, Say no, then knows. I have them on speed dial on the cell phone. So we do a lot of work together and they are always so generous with their time. But a shout out to IT again, because they have a lot of pieces of equipment. Finally, our CT facilities, Dr. Noel pointed out, both of those sides of that building, well beside the construction site, are filled with equipment. Some of it really, really cool. The virtual welders, and I hope some of you have gotten a chance to put those on and do some of the virtual reality welding. But a great training tool for our students. But all of that equipment was purchased with CT funds. And then happening this summer, that's a mock-up, that doesn't exist yet. But we're putting in a ambulance simulator in our emergency responder classroom that's on Vista. And that will allow students to practice loading, unloading, doing pre-hospital work in the ambulance simulator. It moves, it has oxygen, the whole thing.
You're ever told about our connection with Vista Fire?
Absolutely. So Vista Fire, we have a great relationship with them. Not only are we doing, did they take our student interns during a year with our cadet programs, we are working on a summer program for our graduates, where they will become employees of the California Conservation Board, get a stipend of almost $3,000 a month. They'll be trained on wildland firefighting, and then fuel mitigation. They'll get, I think it's 6 different certifications that they can then take with them to get a leg up into the fire service. But in the meantime, they're providing service to the residents of Vista by taking out some of that fuel that fuels wildfires. And then if you've gotten one of those letters, we're a little bit scary to get in the mail. It's like, okay, cut it or else. So our students would be doing that work and saving the local taxpayers money.
A really good example is last year, we had a huge group last year do that of our students, and they actually went around to retired homes of retired folks who are low income, and they took out their old fire alarms and they installed new fire alarms.
Yeah, fire alarms with carbon monoxide.
Yeah, with carbon monoxide sensors, and they were so proud of doing that. We met with them; it was amazing. So it's the city of Vista, in particular, the Vista Fire has been a great partner with our students. And these are students across all high schools, not just one high school.
No, across all of our high schools, there are alternative students as well. And and Chief Washington, our partnership goes all the way down into the elementary school with Rocket coming to all of our sites. The Red Flag program that we're working on. So we really do have a strong relationship. So that's part of our looking at the future on the next one, is building those and continuing to build those relationships, not only for our advisory committees for all of our programs, but to get them out into the community work. So we have another amazing relationship with our Chamber of Commerce, who works on our Velocity 2.0 or Velocity summer internship program. Our students get paid minimum wage and it's, the area of interest that they have. Chamber of Commerce actually goes out, pounds the pavement and makes those connections. So they've been we're looking at more early college credit. So that's looking beyond just Palomar College to other local community colleges that have programs that align to our CTE programs. The work that we were able to do with HR and getting that credential, I think is really going to build some of that talent that we'll be able to kind of plug and play with at some of the high schools as well as in the middle schools. So that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, maybe there is an interest for a physics. I think of a good example, but build a program where rather than say 6 classes, maybe it's 1 class, but that teacher's already teaching physics for 5 or 4 periods, and then comes in and teaches an advanced computer science class, the CTE class for 1 period, which gives the schools a lot of flexibility within their master schedule and also meets the student interest.
I have a question. So one up looking at some of the we had talked when we were eating dinner earlier before the meeting started. We were talking about some of the graphic arts and graphic design and things like that possibly might become obsolete in the future because of AI. Do we have a phase out program and then a phase in or something else?
That's one of the most challenging things. Our CTE teachers are VTA members. So when you eliminate a program, they have a right to a job. And so what we're looking to do, rather than say just we're going to eliminate a program, we're looking at how can we envision this? How can we take and work with industry partners and say, okay, rather, can we take TV, film, and this and combine them together and make a multimedia program? That's just off the top of the head. As a way of addressing those needs. Part of my job really is to have that crystal ball, as I mentioned, and try to look forward. And now it's more difficult than ever, trying to look forward and say, okay, AI is going to be a job disruptor. It really is. So how do we make these programs adapt to that? And so we're keeping our eyes wide open. But I think that working with industry partners is our best bet. Like, how do we make these alignments? How do we get our students the skills that they're going to need successful?
A couple more questions on my end. What about our adult school and how we're connecting maybe students that graduate that don't want to go to community college or a 4-year that are here and, could pick up a couple of skill sets?
That's a great question. That's something that the principal of our Vista Adult School and I have been speaking about a lot recently. We've been working together a lot more closely with our apprenticeship readiness program that's housed at the adult school. So we've been able to build some of those ties. They have a fantastic, great culinary program. They just rebuilt a good portion of their kitchen. So we're looking at as the next step for our culinary students. Obviously, the apprenticeship readiness program is a great next step for both our welding and construction students. That's a little bit in flux right now. We're hoping to have another cohort of that starting fall. Funding has been hung up at the state level. So as soon as that's released, we'll be able to start funding for states.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see that expand. I mean, if we can get, we have a facility there and obviously and oftentimes the challenges is, our kids aren't able to get down to San Diego to go to the training center or whatever, wherever they're located. And so, planting a seed, if we can look at a partnership to creating something up in North County, that will, kids can get trained.
You're absolutely preaching. Look, quite fortunately, Carol Kim was here this evening, who represents 20 apprenticeship programs, and a great relationship with her. But we're bringing students on our alternative ed schools are piloting a program, heavy metal summer program. We're taking them to maybe 15 different apprenticeship programs across the county, but they are almost all south of the 56. And so being able to bring those opportunities to North County is very important.
What do we need from us to make it happen north of the 56?
It's a good question you asked. I mean, ultimately, what we need from the board, we've already been having some preliminary conversations about how we can extend the apprentice readiness program for our other board members. That's actually funded through another agency, the San Diego Workforce Partnership. We've done, I think, 5 cohorts.
Yep.
So far, and they've been very, very popular. But that funding's going away from them. So we're trying to come up with a way for this board to fund it at some point, not necessarily taking away from our K-12 classrooms, but trying to figure out a way to make that happen. So I think of all the programs we've done with outside agencies, the apprentice readiness program has the most potential for us to continue utilizing either grant funding or partnerships with Ford and other agencies.
Yeah, and I mean, we just spent some time in DC. This could be a great partnership to put out a federal delegation. Obviously, trade would probably be willing to, jump in if there's a partnership. We have the land and we get a building,
we have
a beautiful legacy for our.
And almost 700,000 workers along the 78 corridor. We certainly have the people to attract those programs to York County.
We also have base, rates, right? We got veterans who we getting out and we need, some might want to go into the building trade. I know they have a program on base. I think it's the plumbers.
Yes.
Program, right?
Yes.
But that's also, I wonder if we could, get federal fund. I don't know, do graded funding, right? Some graded funding with multiple sources.
That the apprenticeship readiness program is that we have the proof of concept. We've shown that we were able to do this, we're able to deliver. Our program, I think, is going to shoulders above any of the others because we took them to RDP, and they were able to do hands-on work, where some of the other programs, training programs that we went through, it was free delivery. They didn't get it, they didn't touch a tool the whole time. So again, I think that we got that proof of concept. Now it's just building out relationships.
I know it's getting late tonight, but there's one other thing I'd like to add when we didn't put in, because there's so much, I mean, this could be a 50-slide show. But there is another element that Robert and the team have worked on that we haven't done very well in the past, and that is engage our two alternative high schools. So both Alta Vista and Murray, MGM, and it has been amazing, the connection with them. In particular, the metalworking and the welding has been fantastic. And one thing I'm most proud of is we've had as many girls in it as we've had boys. It's amazing.
Oh,
and some of them are like, some of the girls who received awards over the past couple of weeks, young ladies, have actually talked about going into the field and had job offers.
That was something we actually all missed tonight, was the graduation
Graduation.
ceremony. But that their work in community schools has opened up a whole other avenue of partnership with us. And we've been able to open up the facility. So our construction teacher, Mr. Cardenas, is teaching classes with our all-10 students after school. Derek Mendiol is teaching wellness. So the more that we can expand that, and I'm unfortunately, I'm eyeing our culinary soon, so we'll see what
The equity that's demonstrated in our programs is life-changing for the kids at the alternative schools, and for many years they didn't have that access. So good job, everyone who makes that happen. All of them got it. That's really good. Thank you.
Really good partnership between the schools and.
Okay, we'll move on to 19A, superintendent comments.
I think I burned up my comments at the beginning. Thank you for letting me bring those folks in, and thank you for recognizing all of them. Truly, board members, thank you for taking the time, in particular our two student board members. It's just amazing to see these young adults and how they've grown up over time, so I appreciate it. And I'll save my other comments for later.
Okay, moving on to 20A, request for future board agenda items or other business.
I have one bad workshop to discuss the facilities.
Workshop.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are prepared, Sean and I, we love to do this. So again, I had a long conversation with Trustee Martin about this. And I know that she was very interested in having it quickly. I don't know if you have any thoughts now on it, but Sean and I are ready to do it as soon as you guys are ready. So we're just waiting for your direction. Trustee Martin, I know you were very interested in this.
Yeah, I think it's critically important that we get ahead of what we can do right away. Whatever plans that we may have, the architectural plans that were left behind from LL, just to show activity and to show our commitment to going through with that. But I would like to have a workshop so that we can outline the most critical sites that need to be prioritized. And I don't want to put every facility on this list and, give it a number, but we certainly have to identify which ones are absolutely in dire straits. So if we could do this within the next couple of weeks, I mean, maybe in the next.
When you say do this, like meet or plan a date in the next 2 weeks?
No, meet in the next 2 weeks for a workshop.
I can't do 2 weeks. I can do right after my school year's over.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy right now. And we have a bunch of ceremonies to attend.
Yeah, after graduation.
After, I would be.
Okay, so second week in June,
After, yeah, in June.
we'll work for second week
Well,
in June if you're comfortable.
okay, except I'm having surgery the 12th, so I might be out of pocket. Yeah.
I think
Maybe the following.
I mean, Dr. Lewis, if we're going to get the long range security master plan with the website, with like the whole report, when is that happening? Because I think I keep asking this question, and I know the deadline or the date hasn't changed, but I think that would be helpful.
We're nearly there.
Yeah, so we have a draft coming your way here shortly. The deadline of it was June 22nd for full presentation.
Great.
So it is all in that closing stages for that, and that's a logical discussion as part of it, so you can see some of the pricing updates and more things.
Yeah, so I guess my recommendation is we can hold off to get that report, because I think that's going to be helpful too.
Like if we start talking about it and then we find out that one of our schools is like, in dire need, but we don't have that information, that, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
What we could do is embed into the workshop you're asking for the folks who did the long-range facility management. That can be a component of the workshop. And that could be the first part of the workshop, and then they can actually help lead us through. Sean?
Yeah, it may be worthy of doing for a few reasons. First, within the long-range facility master plan, there's a number of things that not everybody has been through, with where priorities are and what happens with all of that. The other is even conversations tonight that occurred, like how do you do program alignment for career tech ed? We can touch on those things because career tech ed requirements are both different as well. So that would be a logical way to approach it, and then bring in the district architect as well as the second part of that to talk about it and then lay out various aspects of it.
So this conversation was really helpful for Sean and for me. So I heard trustee Morocco say that she has some event happening the week of the 8th. Is that correct? So
No, I'm good the week of the 8th, but I have, so like the 11th, probably the 11th and 12th, because I'm having surgery on the 12th. It's minor surgery, so I should be fine the following week, but yeah.
this is what I needed, guys. So just bear with me as I get into the weeds. So it's the week of June 15th. That's 15th is a Monday. We would love to hold something that week if you're able, any day that week. The week of the 15th. You have your calendar now? So can I send something out tomorrow? Chris and I send something out tomorrow. We would love to make something happen the week of June 15th. Martha, does that work for you?
Yeah, because I didn't quite take us to Mexico.
Okay, sorry about that. You want to interfere with Mexico, but we want to get moving on. So what Dr. Bush and I will do is we will work with our team to make sure they're prepared to connect sometime the week of the 15th, and we will embed into that. Trustee Vargas, the folks that are doing the longest field master plan.
Yeah, the only day I can't do that week, the only evening I can't do that week is on 17th and Wednesday.
So look for that to come your way tomorrow so we can get moving on this, because we need a little bit of a heads up to get people ready. So please respond to us as quickly as you respond to Chris as quickly as you can. Thank you.
Well, okay. Do you what? Mike?
Okay, do we want, board member reports, comments?
Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we had a couple people, we've gotten emails, I got some information, and we had a complete speak about the artificial turf. I know that we're redoing the fields at RBB and Vista High. I'm just wondering, I would like to see if it would be possible to not do artificial turf in those fields. If we could.
Yeah, I can tell you that RBV, that would be impossible because it's already done and ready to go. And if we are, but what we can do is bring you a report back. I know Dr. Wilshire is here, but I don't want to do it tonight because it's not agendized. But we can bring a report back to you about that, Trustee Morocco.
Okay.
And in any fields in the future, this is the pleasure of the board. The board can provide us direction. But at this point in time, I want to be very fair to the board that we're already done with Bovier. It's literally already on site.
No.
And RBB is nearly installed, so we can't really change those two.
Okay. Thank you.
But we will make sure we get your report, and if you'd like, we can agendize your report for the board, for the public in the future on our artificial turf and the research we've done on.
Okay, thank you.
Martin, Trustee Alvarado?
Well, I mean, last month, we didn't have time to share the things that we have, the events we've been engaged in, so I just want to share because we were too tired. I'm tired tonight too, but it's not that late. All right, so I attended the early childhood fair with two of my colleagues. It was a beautiful event. Our students and families were very engaged. Our schools were out there making connections. It was awesome, and I was able to attend honoring our own to celebrate you, Dr. Doyle, on your recognition as superintendent of the county through ASCA, and well deserved, and the Sentinel School Board Association Our kids performed there too. It was a great event. I went to the community school showcase where our community schools had presentations and data points on their metrics and how they've been improving. So some of the schools even had students presenting instead of the community school coordinator. You had kids out there talking about their growth, and that was really awesome. I'm just so proud of the initiative with the community schools. Everyone has worked tirelessly, and we're seeing the outcomes improve and the numbers go up and sense of belonging. And boy, Vista has really done a great job. So shout out to everyone involved in the community schools showcase. And I hope that the state legislature decides to make the community school funding, extended, make it permanent. There's been talks about that. I went to the Avid reception for our high schools, tear-jerking statements by students and teachers, the connection between the students and their teachers, their coordinators is strong, and you can see how important those relationships are with students. And a lot of them, are going off, most of them are going off to post-secondary education, so that was awesome. And then the Student of the Year reception over at Vista High was a great time also to celebrate students and the way that the faculty chooses them. It's not always just a GPA, right? I mean, they find their strengths and they recognize them. And that was a great event. So this time of the year is so tiring, but also so rewarding. It just shows all the work that has been put into our students and how, because of that, our kids have better outcomes and they're happy and they're going places and they have hope. And so I enjoy this time of the year as much as it can be tiring. Those celebrations are awesome. So I just want to share that with the community and with my peers. I know you guys have a list of wonderful events that we all attended as well. So that's it.
Mr. Wright? Yeah, just briefly, congratulations once again, Dr. Dale, Superintendent of the Year for the entire Galaxy. I heard you got, some recognitions.
It was May the 4th.
Absolutely. I heard you got some recognitions from, our senators and, our congressional delegations. So, once again, we're proud of you and continue the great work. I'll be heading to Sacramento tomorrow for our CFP delegate assembly. Obviously, big topic in mind is the May revise. And so we'll be getting an update there on the budget. But it does look like, Governor Newsom is holding some of the Prop 90 funding, and so we've been holding that. So we'll continue to advocate, for that money to be released. But more to come once they come back from that. And then I did get to visit the Innovation Center with the San Diego County Office of Ed. Robert, have you been there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great. So many great things happening in there. I mean, some of the stuff we're already doing. So, props to you, and the programs that are being implemented. But I'm like, man, what a hands-on opportunity for young learners, getting engaged, whether that be through their fire academy, their gaming room, which, has,
Pretty cool.
technology that, we do too, but it's like incredible to see this happening across the region. And obviously any lessons learned that we can grab from them and implement this, let us know what you need.
One of our, who runs that? One of our former principals. Really? Yeah, the principal of our Rancho Minerva. Christina.
Okay. I know. Well, that's my report. Actually, one last thing. Dr. Lewis left to visit Clovier. He said, we can touch about it in the next 2 weeks. I was gonna text you one day and, raid the night before, and I'm like, probably not a good idea to go there. But, definitely, I'd love to visit Clovier in like 2 weeks.
All right, I have nothing to report. Just a congratulations again for Superintendent of the Year. And I think that we can.
I have something to report out that nobody mentioned. Our trip to Washington DC, where we had a line on some additional funds and we made Dr. Doyle eat fusion food.
I had no idea what fusion meant, but now I know.
I have photos.
He's not very picky with these things.
That's right.
Okay, meeting is adjourned, 10:06.